Agena tinak kadhin dhagena 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 tinak kadhin.
Every day I wake, I make my mind up. I'ma be the one, be the truth, be the way. Yeah. Every day I wake, I make my mind up. Gotta keep my mind on the because they only telling a side of the story. Out here telling lies like they on Maroon. Them poor rich kids get their money on phone it. But down here in the hood, yeah, we know Forex. We growing up, yeah. We got the goods. Build them assets, build them up fast. Get rid of cash before the whole market crash. A news flash, just a flash from the past. We on the smash now. Be prepared to hit the gas, yeah.
Build a land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, put your game up. Melanesian, elevation, arise. We divide, blood eye, and we travel.
Try.
Blood eye, and we travel.
Woo. That's my child. Woo.
Blood eye, and we travel. Hey, hey, hit him with the high, yeah. Sherry Louaka from Virginia. Yeah.
I know I'm more because I'm blessed. I know I'm more. I passed the test.
We got to see with the true eyes. We need some brand new bright ideas. We got the hearts and some great minds, yeah. If we could all just be sincere.
Build a land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, put your game up. Melanesian, elevation, arise. We divide, blood eye, and we travel.
Try.
Blood eye, and we travel.
Woo. That's my child. Woo.
Blood eye, and we travel. Build a land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, put your game up. Melanesian, elevation, arise. We divide, blood eye, and we travel. Hey, hey, hit him with the high, yeah.
Peace to the party. It's your homeboy back again. Appreciate y'all joining us for Sunday service. All right. Just so y'all know, this is going to be the last one of the commercial year. We're going to make it a good one, too. So I got to keep it real with y'all, man. Boy, I've been busy this past week, man. My eldest going to a new school. Mama then came into town under the weather a couple of days. But you know we're going to always deliver and get his content to the people. All right. So today you see the lecture today. It's going to be Ethnogenesis, along with the manifest destiny, and showing you how this whole Black American was created. Because I'm going to keep it real with y'all, bro. It's pretty evident, you know, on where we are right now in today's time that the Black is a problem. And I be very clear in understanding what I mean when I say that. I don't mean us as a community. I mean what they created Black to really mean. All right. And they did a masterful job in an evil way in constructing this. And we're gonna do like a year-end wrap up, right? Kind of talk about where we really stand right now today, knowing that we're going into a new fiscal year. And really ain't that much change. Some would even say it's gotten worse. You know what I'm saying? So we don't do this for our health or for the money or for the clout, because this is a very slow burn. Shout out to y'all who've been with us since the beginning when we only had maybe 200 subscribers. It was hard to get anybody on these live streams, right? But we've grown. Excuse me. We've changed. We've improved because we listen, right? We understand how we got to get in touch with our people. That's why we got the entertainment aspect as well as the education. And we talk about the current day news, because we can't just always be talking about the history. We got to show you how it correlates right now today to make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? So a couple videos that I saw through social media. Shout out to all the other members of the party who always send me stuff to make sure that I can report on this to y'all properly, right? Because we want to hear what the people saying. So I want to take it over here. This PSA that I seen this young woman put out, I want you to hear what she had to say. We're going to kind of start the train of thought there and move forward.
Hello, Black Americans. In 2026, I genuinely challenge you to move past this skin color box that we have pigeonholed ourselves into. We're becoming a community where we're genuinely picking our friend groups, book clubs, churches, colleges, and even presidential candidates solely based on the color of someone's skin, and it is hindering us as a community. We all love to talk about Dr. King, and we all love to bring up the quote where he talks about not being judged by the color of your skin, but by the content of your character. And here we are, still today, judging people solely based on skin color. And it's getting to a point where I don't even think some of you like Dr. King because he fought for civil rights. I think you guys just like Dr. King because he was black. Like, if Dr. King were a white man, I'm genuinely convinced that a lot of the black people of today would have just written him off as some sort of white savior and tried to discredit everything that he tried to say. And I know this because he was a black man and said all those things, and you're still missing the point. That message was not just for white people. I'd argue that today that message is mainly for us because there's a large portion of the black community that is just so jaded by slavery and segregation and Jim Crow that they refuse to move past it. The only way to actually move past racism is to move past racism. And what's even sadder is that I know that a lot of you are going to watch this video and you're going to assume that I'm saying that you just need to go out and make friends with a bunch of white people and go to a white church and just do everything white. And what I'm actually saying is that that thought process right there, that mentality right there is the problem.
So a lot of people, they hear that, because I see this going around. It happens to us, specifically me, all the time. When anytime that I say anything that does not paint what they would call our black community in a bad light, and it's just an honest assessment of actually being a participant for quite some time now, you know what I'm saying? They always go to say that you are trying to side with the oppressor, right? And the funny part about that is the average person in America, especially the black American, doesn't even know who the oppressor really is. And I've come to find that out through my journey through all these different schools of thoughts, because normally consciousness with the black community starts with Pan-African first, or somewhere in that paradigm. And I'm not exempt from that, right? And so when you go through that, they tell you that basically anybody white is your enemy. But anybody with good sense will start to realize that that don't even make no sense. So then shout out to Matt. The other day he broke something down. We was talking about, because we always prepare for these shows. We do this every week. We talk about the topics all throughout the week. So just so y'all know, we don't be on here freestyling. I'm pretty sure that's evident, but it needs to be said that, we put a lot of time and thought into what we present. And Matt said something like the whole race theory, right? Not only was it about shaping the way people look and basing their reality off that, but also their mindset, like a race to be first, a race to be the best. And this is how we get this whole back and forth where we think that anybody who's not the exact same phenotype as us is automatically our enemy, not understanding that that was created for us. So that's one of the pillars of this whole ethnogenesis. It wasn't just about molding nationalities. It was about molding mindsets, right? So that's one of the ones. We always hear that. So that pit us against other races every time. Just like when we did our breakdown of the red race, we weren't doing that to diss the West Coast Indians. They still are indigenous people. It's just we had to tell the story correctly, because it ain't about respect. It's about being correct. You feel me? So, hey, look. So I like how she broke that down. So then you got that philosophical mind view. You got the marketing strategy, but then it went to the education. So this the whole critical race theory that they talk about. So listen to what this brother said about that.
It is a minority. He here is minor. So we got to change lane. And then this African American, we're Americans. We got to see ourselves as that first. CRT is creating unsuccessful people so that they can have a grievance against the country. That's what it's doing. Because if you actually taught the opposite of all that stuff, being on time, none of this stuff is, how are you going to tell someone being polite is being white? It's insane. And it's the same thing back in the day when people spoke a certain way, proper English instead of Ebonics, I guess. They would say you're talking white. And I try to point out, white people don't have a monopoly on being polite, being on time. That's insane. And that's what's coming out of CRT. And then they use faulty data. We don't have a bunch of CEOs. We don't have a bunch of this. We don't have a bunch of teachers. We don't have a bunch of that. Again, it's because they won't deal with the problem of, K-12 education in inner cities and teach these kids to read and write. I don't think teachers unions should be pushing any type of social issues. That's up to the parents to do that. It's our job to teach curriculum, and we just keep it at that.
Hey, so it's funny how it's a lot of, when we go through the history and we do our research, we understand that another one of the pillars that the establishment wanted to make sure they controlled was education. So they gave this semblance of what they call public free education on the premise that it was to make everybody have a level playing field, right? Whole time though, that these school systems were the breeding grounds to be able to corrupt your mind, right? And have you thinking these philosophical thoughts and not focused on your everyday reality and how to actually apply your knowledge in the real world. It's just a whole bunch of pontification about 5,000 years ago. And that's the things that a lot of the Pan-African concepts come from, right? And it's clearly not working in our public school system right now today. If you've been through public school or you got kids that's in it now, you'll be able to relate what I'm saying. Now, it's not the same for every district, every city, every state, but if we did the numbers in totality, I'm pretty sure we would be able to get to a pretty good conclusion. All right. So I'm breaking down every one of these pillars so that we see that we were attacked from multiple different ways. You got your education who think, we were taught if you send your kid just to school, even if the parents wasn't really involved, they should have a good chance of success. Whole time, you got a lot of people who got college degrees, multiple of them, but they can't use that to be able to function in the real world at a high level. They're not able to transfer what they deem to be intelligence. Because in my opinion, all right, intelligence isn't how well you do on a standardized test. It's about showing the results of the decisions that you made over a certain amount of time to truly prove if you are intelligent or not. Right? I don't care if you got a perfect SAT score and you ain't never been able to take care of yourself and you 45 years old. Your SAT score don't do nothing for you at 45, bro. You feel what I'm saying? So we just got to keep things in context. That doesn't mean education is not important. Clearly, us doing what we do, we know that. All right. But the way that things can be framed can change your viewpoint forever. So I just want you to, so when you hear people bucking back on getting CRT out of schools, mainly black people who defended it, and y'all don't even understand, we was the ones that's targeted the most with this bullshit. It ain't been no good to us, bro. How long we been hearing about slaves? You think that's not going to change our reality? Whole time, the story is not accurately painted in the first place. But we're going to get back to that in a second. So we got the education. We got the mentality. We got the nations being ripped away. We got all these things that are being controlled by the establishment. So then you get into the propaganda machine. So the news and newspapers and all those things was what worked back in the day. But then we started this whole entertainment thing in America, and that made the propaganda so much more powerful, right? So I don't know if y'all seen it, but last couple of days, there's been a lot of rappers. It could be a campaign, a marketing strategy. I don't know, but they've been saying F the streets. They just been putting that tweet out. A lot of people, it's been a lot of commotion behind it, all right? So I don't even care what the reason was. When I just seen the message, cool. All right, I salute that. There ain't even no need to dig into if they really mean it or not, right? But then I see people going crazy, like they really mad that these dudes coming out and saying this. So listen to this dude. Shout out to brother from New York, man, Gotham. Let me check him out real quick.
Is flabbergasted. They really defending the streets. Oh my God. Listen to this. I can't just let you niggas say fuck this. What, sir? Listen to Miss.
Fuck the streets is crazy. I am a woman and I never say no that's crazy to me. Y'all, it's crazy. Y'all rich now. So y'all could say some shit like that. Everybody not rich, motherfuckers still outside. When you think of the streets, what is it? What does that stand for? It stands for us.
Ma'am, what are you talking about? The streets, because The streets is not a black thing, miss. The streets is a demonic thing. You ever heard of MS-13, Aryan Brothers, fucking Latin Kings, all kind of other different races of gangs and all type of mafia street syndicates and shit? That shit is just a demonic thing. Ever since we chose the streets, nothing but demonic shit happened. Nothing but losses. Yes, it's fuck the streets. Nobody give a fuck about these rappers. Oh, because they just saying it because the fuck the rappers have been fuck the streets before they said something. Like that shit for all the people who lost their fathers, their mothers got murdered in a drug game. People who lost their family to overdoses, AIDS, all kinds of shit in the streets. And y'all defending this shit. People will never see their family again. Gotta keep seeing their family behind a fucking table. They kids coming to jail for 10 years and all behind the streets, number of losses. And y'all talking about, the shit that come with the streets that we got. What? Money, cars, jewelry, all that. What? A rap career? What? Y'all motherfuckers be thanking God for shit the devil gave you. Y'all motherfuckers is demonic, crazy. There's no way I could never defend something that brought so much destruction into my life.
Hey, I couldn't agree with him more, bro. But the point of me bringing this up is, if you are a true hip hop head, you participate in the culture. We'd be lying if we didn't say there was a shift in the way that music was produced and put out, what the topics had to be for you to be the top guy. You know what I'm saying? Like it's clearly a marketing strategy that was used, and we want to be oblivious to it, like it don't really affect us, right? That's a whole nother topic for another day. The pillars that I'm breaking down, though, you see how they get into the music, the movies. It shaped a couple of generations to even be here to where defending that is a thing. You know that it's the mentality, bro. You ain't born that way. You feel me? Blackness started getting tied to street culture. And then it's being upheld by not even just men. You got women saying the same thing. So that's how you know where we at as a culture, right? And that's a problem. But it wasn't because that was our ancestors' culture. It was because this black thing, we was created to participate in this role, right? So then I seen that Candace Owens had got on the radar, some FBA people, some freedmen. All right, she said something about Black history. So I see Buddy, he responded to her. So I want to play this clip real quick. I'm going to share my thoughts. So now the media started with your TV, your radio, your CDs, and music, right? But now we got this thing called YouTube. We got content creation. So then you got another side of things. We don't know who's playing for what side. Because if they infiltrated music, and by they I mean the establishment, and they went out the movies, who's to say they wouldn't be in content creation as well, putting out certain narratives through certain people? It's hard to tell who's who. That's why you got to have an autonomous perspective. But check out this video, and we're going to talk about it real quick.
I challenge Black Americans to wake up to your true history, because your quarrel is not with white men. Wake up and learn the true history of slavery, because that wasn't exactly a white men sport, okay? Jewish people were the ones that were trading us. Jewish people were in control. I challenge Black Americans.
Okay. Candace, your challenge has been accepted. Peace, everybody. My name is Naheem, BKA Lord Abba, AKA Mr. Just the Facts. Mr. Just the Facts. We accept your challenge, Candace Owens, and luckily for us, my team and I, Be the Power, United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen, we've been doing this type of research for the past 20 years, and we know for a fact that the Jewish involvement in the slave trade was very, very minimal. But these are white people as well. Jewish men are white men. In fact, Elon Musk he tweeted that Jews are peak white, meaning that he may see himself as white, but the Jews are at the top of the mountain. They are the Mount Zion of whiteness, if you will. Candace, I don't know what you're talking about. But we know our history better than you know our history. So let me get into some of this. When we're dealing with the transatlantic slave trade again, the Jewish role is very, very minimal. Very, very minimal. They controlled, trade routes. I don't even know how many of the many ships they actually own. When the history is recounting what happened, the Jews, when you're identifying this section of white men by their ethnicity, again, their role is so minimum that you cannot, in good conscientiousness, say that Black Americans need to do research because it was the Jews that somehow did this whole thing. And no, that's not what happened. When the Virginia Company first founded Virginia, none of those people were Jews. It was they who helped usher in that labor, that servant class that would eventually become the chattel slaves of white men.
Hey, so I couldn't even listen to this whole thing, bro. So this part of the problem. I'm just gonna keep it real. So Mac and Ghana Green and all them, they've been studying and in the conscious mind frame for much longer than me. And they know all of these people, all of these names, and I tell them all the time. Boy, when I hear these folk talk, they sound ridiculous. This dude say he been studying 20 years, right? And you still talking about levels of whiteness and not understanding that race is a construct. And if you basing that on history when they didn't even use them terms back then, you already lost. So to say Jews can only be white, and I just know for a fact that he not as studious as people is, and that's coming from the homeboy with the news. I seen Mac responded to him. He ain't say nothing because these dudes' scholarship be crazy. But this is what that other paradigm, right? Another pillar. You got folks so entrenched in this Black stuff and the back to Africa, that whole thing, it literally has ruined their whole life. And they've been looking to drag people down with them. They running all kind of scams. People like Dr. Umar, who could have been gifted in any other thing he chose, even if he just stayed to be a psychologist, but he wanted to go Pan-African. He not built for that, to be able to run this the way he should, because he's not a businessman like that. And now his whole thing is falling apart. But sticking to Mother Africa, they say that's where he at now doing content, because you can always finesse with Africa, because they've been finessing us. They in on it too. It just is what it is. But we sitting here still in 2025 and head into a whole new fiscal year, talking about stuff they've been saying since the 80s and not gotten a step further, bro. It really be frustrating to even come around and we do these shows. It be because of y'all, the people who rock with us, leave the comments, because it really feel like not much traction is being made if we keeping it real, because the conversations is crazy. Like, the one part I do would agree with Candace Owens is Black Americans do need to go and understand the true history. And it ain't just about no white Jews. I don't agree with her on that. But this is why we do what we do. Regardless, you got to be autonomous. You can't have no one person, not just no Candace Owens, not just the Autonomous Party or the dude Lord Abba, whoever you rocking with, that cannot be your only source of information and truth. You need to do some shit for yourself, bro. Because we done got way too far behind and don't want to call a spade and do the things that we need to do, that our ancestors left us the breadcrumbs to know what to move forward with. So it's on us that really know to do something with it. But hey, check this out, bro. I'm gonna hop off the soapbox because we finna get ready for the show. We got Mac and we got Nine Ether back there today. Like I say, this is our last show of the year. So appreciate everybody who's been with us, even if this your first time today or you've been rocking with us since the beginning. Regardless, we like 200 subscribers away from getting to 10,000. So we need y'all help, bro. It's free. Hit the like button. If you're here now, go ahead and hit the like button. Send it to a friend. Even if y'all don't disagree. Even if y'all don't agree, excuse me, we can debate civilly. This go for Lord Albert too. If you just come across your desk and you feel a way, we can make that happen, brother. It's, ain't nothing to it. But hey, y'all, subscribe to the Autonomous Party. It helps us. All right, it's free. So when we get this going in the show, if you have any questions, super chats will get you to the top. It's the name of the game, right? So before we get to this Ethnogenesis and Manifest Destiny, show you how they made Black America, we're going to take it to the Villa Man's Choir. All right. Let them talk to you real quick, and then we're going to get into the show. All right, so we'll be back in a minute, y'all. Peace.
before they painted pictures white. The story traveled overseas in light. Exiles running from the Inquisition's fire, carrying covenant and ancient choir. Moorish shades in the Amsterdam rain, brown-skinned rabbis with Iberian names. Menacee opened up the book again, said the tribes were living on American plains. Whoa.
Copper sons, tawny daughters, walked this land before the borders. Everybody knew the signs, everybody felt the line.
Hidden Hebrew in the land, yeah. We were written in the sand, from the islands to the Carolinas. Same blood, same fire, same promise inside us. If they cover up the truth, still the truth gon' rise again. Hidden Hebrew in the land, you can hear it in the wind. Cromwell reading hope of Israel, saw the prophets in the stories we tell. Said the nations on this copper ground look like Spain's Jews when the sun went down. Puritan eyes saw a mirror too, Old Testament ways in the native crew. Drums like song, smoke like prayer, memories speaking through the sun-kissed air.
We ain't new to this land,
we been here from the start.
We ain't strangers to the Lord, heaven branded on the heart.
Hidden Hebrew in the land, we were written in the sand, from the islands to the Carolinas. Same blood, same fire, same promise inside us. If they cover up the truth, still the truth gon' rise again.
Hidden Hebrew in the land,
yeah.
You can hear it in the wind.
Carolina line, so Sephardic seas met the Maroon tribes, mixed the prayers with the river tides, colored tongues with that G-Ula flame. Still the same people though they changed our name. From Suriname heat to the low country sand, that Hebrew root kept holding the land. Oh,
they try to bury what we carry, try to hide it in the maps, but the drums remember stories that the textbooks won't unwrap.
Lift your voice, let the truth run free. We the ones they said we couldn't be. Every exile finds their shore. We've been home forever, and Hebrew in the land. We were written in the sand, from the islands to the Carolinas. Same blood, same fire, same promise inside us. Truth don't break and truth don't bend. Spirit knows its way back in.
Hidden Hebrew in the land,
let the choir say amen. In a file, a barcode born to reconcile. But when I breathe, I feel the flame of every soul that wore my name.
They test my blood, but not my song. They name me right, but spell me wrong. Every drop still testifies. We survived what couldn't die.
We remember the hands that pray, yeah. We remember the price they paid.
We remember the light,
the climb. 'Cause
the blood remembers time.
we remember who we are.
No code, no lamb, no star.
Treasure who we are.
From the field to the skyline.
From the roots to the divine.
We remember our name. 'Cause the blood remembers time.
Testifying our glory.
They say I'm part of this and that, but who recorded where I'm at? I'm every hymn my people sang before this nation knew our name.
We remember the songs they wrote. We remember the words they spoke.
We remember the old and young.
The fight still lives in every tongue.
They tried to write us out the page,
But we remember
our truth don't age with time or cage.
We remember
The blood still moves from line to line.
We remember
Every prayer becomes a sign.
We remember
The bayou winds in Carolina rain. We kept our roots
Through joy and pain,
They built their test,
we built a tribe.
the proof is still alive.
We remember the name they changed.
We remember.
We remember what they rearranged.
We remember.
We remember in heart and mind. Birds
The
of
blood remembers time.
We remember who we are.
We remember near or far.
Our spirit still. They can test this flesh and every name, every prayer, every sign.
Every name, every The blood remembers time.
Check. All right, it's on. It's time, y'all. We about to get to it. I got Mac. He ready. Tap in.
Tap in. What we do? Your mic check.
Yeah, you good, bro. Loud and clear.
Mic check. How y'all doing out there? Winter solstice here. Winter solstice. You know what I mean? It's the what do you say? The longest night and the shortest day.
Yeah.
You hear me? Yeah. The sun get ready to go down. Last week y'all counting down like New Year's for the sun to get to this lowest point. You heard me? I know some people correlate to Christ. You know what I'm talking about? However the case, winter solstice. You know what I mean? Shout out to y'all for just tapped in live with us. And we getting ready to go in. You know what I'm saying? It's the Ethnogenesis. I mean, we've said this term 4 years ago. I'm gonna say, in our conversations and understanding what we also research to deal with the ethnogenesis and understand that ethnogenesis is part of us manifesting our destiny, you know what I mean? And our pursuit of happiness, you know what I'm saying? Autonomously. That's why, again, I'm gonna go to my phrase, the harsh reality is live life autonomously.
Yeah, that was a cold one there, bro.
Huh?
I like that one. That was always, every time you say it, bro, you put that one together perfectly.
It's because that's my heart. You hear me? Yeah. I can't, no matter what's going on, even if I'm wrong about something, it's just going to correct me to be on the path of getting to autonomous.
Right.
From a mental,
right answer.
Spiritual, physical, economic, political. It's always about upgrading, I'm a constant elevation of life. My daughter was born yesterday. Shout out to my daughter, Chanel.
Hey, shout out to her.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? She a solstice baby. Shout out to my sister too. Tan, you heard me? She born the day before. You know what I mean? I guess it's how I ain't gonna lie, get into that tonight. But yeah, I gotta give a shout out to all the ladies in Sagittarius. Shout out to Sagittarius. My dad was born, he's Sagittarius, born on Thanksgiving. I can't front, it's like that on my side. But shout out to everybody that's checking in. I see what's up, Cherokee, Catawba. All right. Shout out to everybody that's tapping in from however you delineate, self-identify autonomously. But you tapped in with us. Thriller, you heard me? Shout out to Trail, shout out to Miss Sherry, shout out to, like you said, Monte, from the people that's been with us from the beginning. You heard me?
Real.
Audio.
Tecumseh.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Eastside. I don't say his name too much either.
Hey, Eastside always be in the background, just support.
I give him a shout out though. I see him though. It's a lot of people that support what we do. To the point where we at now, obviously I can't front, you know what I'm saying? That would be a lie. So before we get into the build, that's on the solstice. As we came back, you know what I'm saying? But I always make sure I say this ahead of time too. Rome's been the referee from we came back, ain't it?
Yep.
Monte? Rome's been the referee, right? And Lee Cummins, shout out to Lee Cummins. I'm giving my shout outs real quick, Monte, out the way.
Yeah. Get off.
Shout out to Lee Cummins, because Lee Cummins, if anybody's gone back and watched our series and our conversations with him, and shout out, because a lot of people that write books, they don't want to sometimes step to the stage and have these type of dialogues. It might mess up their sales.
Oh, yeah.
But
Lee
can, you heard me? Lee was like, look, Lee was like, look, I'm coming. You heard me? So on some real shit, I gotta give him the shout out. That's why he always is down with the party when it comes to what we want to get information from, and we'll bring him on for that. He know that. He always down on that level. And the Black European thing, you know what I'm saying? That Jew, since you showed earlier, right? that homeboy, Lord Abba.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those freedmen folk over there. That I guess subscribe to the fact. I guess they went. I mean, I ain't Pan-African. I ain't no Israelite. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm a Maroon. First off, shout out to my Maroons outside. Esther Lusty. Yeah. Just let y'all know, Gullah. You heard me? I in Gullah, in the manner of a Hebrew term, that means redemption. By the way. Yeah, it's Gullah for that reason. We understand that, and what we doing autonomously, redeeming ourselves autonomously, setting the record straight autonomously, going over the information autonomously, that we cannot go against the trail. And if Lee Cummins is wrong, and I ain't gonna say everything, King James, and if he was looking like me, you know what I'm talking about? Exactly. But we got to understand what we definitely do know. And who and what is where at what times on a timeline tied to our heritage, which is tied to our lineage and our ethnogenesis. And the things that we claim we went through. On a general level, we can't front on that politically. I think when we look at all the crowns and all the stuff that we talk about, we're going to get to it tonight. Right? That's a segue right there.
Yeah.
We're going to show you why we're saying what we're saying autonomously on our side, you know what I mean? So again, it's your boy Mac 8, the Gullah Mac, you know what I'm saying? Miranda, the harsh reality is live life autonomously. Is 9 there? You know I could go. So
Yeah, let me see. 9, you know the drill. When you flash on camera when you're ready for me to pop you up.
Yep. Make that a little bit bigger for him.
Man, I'm finna have to take it to another. It's because it's the way this I should have I ain't had time to do it my normal way.
That's no pressure.
So no, let
them see it raw. You know what I'm talking about?
But I can't zoom on this shit though.
Is that the first one?
Yes, the slide 1. Yeah, that's the first one and slide 1 of the first one. So it'll be the first page. So we ain't talking about nothing but just why you breaking it down.
Okay, hold on.
So it's probably started.
Got him. That's all I need you to show me.
Yep.
All right, so boom, the picture's on the next page, but the first page obviously is going to go into this term blackamoor. I know last week we was talking about the red race. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And Benjamin Franklin even though, you know, you show, it didn't say red race inside Benjamin Franklin's notes before I go into this real quick, right?
Yeah.
It didn't show that, you know what I'm saying? But what it did show that red and white were in certain kind of alliance based off of treaties, and how now the white, we mean Anglo-Saxon, is going to be looking at these people they call red, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, and how this race development of later on comes about for who now falls underneath what we call a red race. So obviously indigenous people, as we just showed you, weren't being described in that manner based off any of the people that we would call European in their historical primary documents. But however the case might be, as we've sticking on the fact that we know certain things, you're Indian, as far as, you know, that word Indian before red is being put in place, that there's a distinction, you know, there's a distinction, you know what I'm saying? Hold on, now just text me before I go into this.
Yeah.
He says, bring him up, but it shows he's backstage or something like that, though.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh, there we go.
Check.
You done.
Okay, I got you. You hear me?
Yeah, you good?
Yeah, I'm clear.
Yep.
Good. You don't hear my dryer, do you?
Nah.
I ain't want to turn it
we
on.
done did deal with you in the streets. You've been literally in the streets, so I can deal with your dryer. You know what I'm talking
about?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Literally.
The first thing I did was in the streets, right?
I swear you was
Oklahoma
in the
joint.
Yeah,
you was in the Bronx.
I done caught you twice.
Yeah. Southwest Bronx. That was crazy.
You was in the
Holler to everybody here.
Yeah, go ahead. Give you a shout out before we go in.
My shout out ain't particular to no one. It's to those that follow for the truth. Those that walk to try to at least disseminate the information that was given, therefore that the future generations are not so far away from the ground zero. Our ground zero has been pushed by colonial history 500-600 years, when our ground zero is 1865, meaning that you can find a lot of what happened and occurred to those people that we're going to show you were an amalgamation of this different blacks. So my shout out is to those that, and there's many of them, I can't sit here and name them, but they're on that walk, adding to this information, we're adding to their information together, we're correlating that information, maybe to find some roots of semi-autonomy, and at least at minimum, the true history, because restitution is not got to do with just cash. Reparations don't got nothing to do with just cash. It got to do with reinstatement and restoring and repairing some things. So shout out to those that's on that quest.
Word.
Yeah.
Go back up to the next joint real quick though, so I can read that to him. Because this is
the first page, yeah.
This you know, hey, I know, like you said, shout out to Monte. See, we showing him something on, so this is the raw. You hear me?
Right.
And sometimes I gotta give people the shit, the raw shit. You hear me? Like, excuse me, all the children out there. You know, I'm trying to be PG-13 as much as possible. You hear? This information, as much as how we do, and I heard and feedback we even get from people after this, that, you know what I'm saying, how we, you know what I mean? And I get it, you know what I'm saying? Because we know people watching. We obviously growing, so y'all watching. You hear me?
Growth in motion.
Yeah, so we're gonna take the criticism and make adoptions so we can make sure that everybody get the message autonomously as our party meant to put it out here. So that first screen right there, this slide right there, number one. So to anybody that can't read, I know you can't, you know what I'm saying? Purpose, which is gonna be right underneath lecture, right? Which is gonna be tied to legal, historical, brief, with maps and manuscripts. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all see that. And it says plates after that, if you see that right there in bold. So it says purpose. Rebuild a full depth reference packet. Maybe I'm gonna show you with raw. This is raw. For presentation and briefing. You know what I'm saying? Chronologically. You know what I'm saying? Timeline from 70 AD to 1492. You know what I mean? Glossary entries. Everything that's in this slide right here is the timeline, like how we walked from earlier when we brought up Rome.
Yeah.
70 AD. You're being consistent on the timeline of the walk up. You heard me? So you can go to the next one. That's all I want to make sure you see in this presentation. You heard me? That's the next map right there. You heard me? Yeah. Bet money. Now I say, you see on the map, y'all all can see clearly it says 117 AD, right? Make sure y'all focus on that right there. So I'm going to read what it say underneath that map. It says, this map is included in visual and linguistic arena in which Latin ethonyms, Mari, which would be more in English, Ethiops, you know what I mean, Greek, and it says, and administrative identifiers, which would be Jews in Greek. And I'm going to show you how it's spelled right there. It says IUDE, excuse me, I'm tripping, IUDAEUS as Judeans or Jews, or like how we like the party like to say it, because there's no J's back then, Yahudim, Yahud, Yahudi. You heard? And it says circulated across provinces, garrisons, ports, and mixed diaspora communities. So we can slide.
Yeah, too, when it's so Rome, you always say Rome the referee, right?
Yep.
So a lot of their governmental system came with them. So a province and a garrison and a port, that's all military.
Yep.
So just keep that in mind on how, because they got Africa here.
Yep.
Listed here. So you can't really see it here, but basically around this lower portion. Hey, you can see my mouse. No, you can't see my mouse on the screen.
I can't see a mouse,
Yeah. So just so the source of the map is, you can go to the Roman Empire from 117 AD and get this map, so you can see that Africa is listed here. Go ahead, man.
All right, but move to the next slide then. That's one. We're just walking them up from how we started back with the Rome and everything, and tied to black folk. You know what I mean? These terms, linguistics, etc., where they come from, the rooted ethnogenesis, right? Consistently walking up from time farm. You know, we in the first century with that. So, court claims, which it says there, what this brief does and does not claim. Mari begins as Roman provincial ethnon. That's tied to lineages of people. For peoples associated with Mauritania, which would be Northwest, as we would call it today, Africa. Then expands in late antiquity. It would say in medieval Latin and Iberian usage to mean North African, and often Muslims, and sometimes more broadly, dark/foreign. Then it says Niger. It says Niger is a Latin adjective meaning black/dark, and also a common Roman cognomen. And I'm going to spell cognomen because I want y'all to research what a cognomen is based off the Roman I still of it. COGNOMEN. All right, which means nickname, surname. Okay, you made it bigger. You working, Monte. I appreciate you. Yeah, for the people to see it. You know what I'm talking about? And then it says its presence in Acts 13:1. Basically, it shows you that Greek right there with the block. That block came in because how that,
the spacing,
spacing and stuff. But it's usually explained as a Latin nickname meaning black/dark, but it is not in itself a technical Roman label for Jews or Ethiopians. Is a Greco-Roman ethnonym commonly used for peoples understood as Ethiopian/Sub-Saharan, dark-skinned, all right, with shifting geographic imagination across religious, ethnic, or both, depending on context after 70 CE. It becomes central to the diaspora categorization of Negro. Remember now, we're dealing with Negro. It's the ethnogenesis of this term, Negro, black. Tied to, some people would like to say Africa. It ain't West Africa at this time, though. Anybody here disagree with that? It's definitely in North Africa, correct, y'all?
Yeah.
Okay. Iberian languages, as it develops, Negroes will be tied to Iberia. Niger is going to be tied to North Africa, and obviously the areas some people like to call the Middle East. But still, Greek-wise, Roman-wise, right? But as this word Negro develops in the time frame later on, and that's why we're doing a slide like this, it says derives from Latin Niger, So let you know that this word Negro derives from a linguistic, ethnic ideal from Niger. There's no going around that unless somebody comes show us something different. Here, and it says in early modern colonial documentation, it becomes a commodified category tied to enslavement, right, and emerging racial systems, which is later distinct. Here, so that right there is why later on, as we showed you last week, from earlier Roman medieval descriptions, Blackamoor, when English starts to develop, describe underneath their Roman idealism of being tied to that system, they're using the word Blackamoor as an English compound. You see right there, compound that typically intensifies more with a color adjective, often used to mark dark complexion and or African origin in early modern records. Not automatically equivalent to enslaved Africans, and not identical to Moor alone, meaning Muslims, because the English is not dealing with Muslims. They're dealing with people called Saracens, and Saracens predate Muslims, who are being described as Moors. So many different groups of people are being described as Moors. We can slide up, though. I mean, we're going to give them the Acts 13 real quick, you know what I mean? And we're going
Hey, 1 second, though.
Real quick, go ahead.
I want to see how close I can get this so they can see that we ain't capping on. Yeah, there you go. I'm going to see how close I can get it.
See, that's a straight to the Baltic. Oh, okay.
No, I'm going to make it bigger. Hold on.
All right. Oh, stop right there, right there. Oh.
Which one you want?
Right there? You see where it says Cyrene?
Yeah.
You see where it says Cyrene?
Yeah.
You see where it says Cyrenaica? Cyrenaica?
Yeah.
That's tied to Acts 13.
Yeah.
In the Bible, where Simon's at. Simon is located in Acts 13 in that area of North Africa. Right? Make sure we understand when we about to read the next shift, all right? I'm gonna let you know. You see where that right there, right? You see that?
Okay. Now, hold on, let me get out of it.
You see where Sicily is? Look, Hey, Syracuse. For all the people that like Syracuse and everything, you see that word right there, right? Y'all ever seen that? Syracuse? That was crazy, right? You see Syracuse? All right. Hey, y'all, you in New York, Syracuse.
Q-Town.
I can't do nothing about that now. That's not my fault. Hey, glossary, right there, see? So as you showed the map now, and I just showed anybody can go today, you want to pull out their Bible, Acts 13:1, right? We just going off the words and how they are shown throughout all texts, not us being biased. It's the Ethnogenesis. So it says, baseline meaning, Latin adjective, black, dark, dusky, also used as a Roman cognomen. I told y'all to remember this word cognomen now, because this is a Roman cognomen, Niger, right? Nickname and surname. So note of use in Acts 13:1, right? It says Simon, who was called Niger, is commonly taken as a Latin nickname, meaning black or dark, used alongside a Jewish name. Yeah, Jewish name. Commentators warn that the nickname could refer to complexion, hair, or some other distinguishing feature. It is not a technical ethnonym. Ethnonym. People get ethered off this right here tonight. Here. And it says, and does not by its self-defined ancestry or status. We go to him. So that's why we get him down here, right? Though you see that right there. Iberia, where the Negro, they borrowing it. You know what I mean? We walking through the slides. Now that I can see it here. And Monte got it right. I want to make sure I didn't miss none of them details. So as y'all see how we walk down through these slides, it's the raw one. Now, Negro, Iberian, English borrowing. So black or Moor is going to come out of them borrowing the word Moor. You're English, right? We see that, right? Iberia. Now it says Mari. Mari baseline shows you the area, Mauritania. That could be Northwest Africa. All right. Roman, keep going down. Ethiops. Why they use it? Ethiops with the A. Aether. You're Aether, like, dark skin. You know what I mean? It say, right, see all that. Then boom, come right here. Boom, land there. Judean/Jew can be a regional from Judea. And they see ethno, religious, depending on context. After Judean revolts and Roman reorganization, diaspora documentation increases the silence of the term. Late antique Christian polemic sometimes reshape its connotations, right? Now we're gonna go ahead. Now, if you want to slide in anytime, I'm just trying to make sure how we walk up this ethnogenesis of this area, so it's no confusion, right? Mauritania.
You hear me?
Yep.
I would just say I put in about 5 or 6 Nigers from the Roman protectorate at the time. They are all senators. They're in the chat. They're all senators. And the last one I put in there, Quintus Aquilius Niger, the Roman jurist, legal scholar, and senator active during the Roman Empire, most likely under Augustus and old Tiberius. Just to give you a biblical narration of someone chronologically parallel with Yeshua or the 0 to 33 AD situation. But all these Nigers, they let you know when you research them that cognomen of black and dark was Niger. Romans were using that. That's why Romans and the Greeks, when they were translating the Septuagint and all this other stuff, they're giving you the Roman understanding of Niger. So all these Nigers are holding actual office in the Senate. This is not an anomaly. This is not no situation where it's an anomaly. It is done using this Niger for about 300 years post AD. So they're using that Niger for 300 to 400 years post AD. And this family called the Aquila Nigers, you see that Aquila all the time. And when you look at these people, that is a family branch. They call them gens, Gens. Like we call things clans, they will say the Aquila gens. And last but not least, I will add that the acts were written by the Roman legates, these jurists. They're the ones that brought forth anything called the act. Those acts you can find in their brotherhood is called the Arvin or Arvnel brotherhood. Those where you find the most Nigers. And that brotherhood expands to the beginning of what we call Rome. So I just wanted to add that so y'all can have some sources more than just Simon. Like we don't, we know that there's more sources. We're going to use the one that you can look at as something universal because Rome is not universal, the Bible is. Go ahead, Matt.
All right, slide down. Yeah, I see the same map that we showed before. It showed the same, it's a little more visual, right? Surprise. You see how close the Straits of Gibraltar is to what they call Southern Europe? That Rome.
Yeah. It's closer than the Bering Strait. They could just swim that thing.
Right. Like people, like, what's going on? Like, you don't think people from out in North Africa call Maoris based off the Greek term? This is before Islam, by the way, that they're using this term, Mauritania, where they get it from. And any of those groups of people indigenous to it, that would be the Carthaginians, Sidonians, Tyranians, Canaanites, as people like to say. You know what I'm saying? We know Canaanites tied to Ham. Ham is going to be black, right? They're in this area, by the way. At the same time, there's people they call Jews who definitely in the same region are in this area too. And they're in
and they're on the other side, right there, on the north.
Right up.
On the south where you see Morocco, that's the Mauritanian flow, the Moroccan flow, the Rock of Gibraltar, all that situation. That's their marker for the Muslim Mohammedan faith. And on the top where you see Spain and Castile, call that crypto Jew hiding under Catholic Christian monarchs as the banking system since their expulsion.
Yeah. I want y'all to see this is the real joint. I pulled a real map up for y'all tonight. See, I make sure you see this. All that already highlighted in yellow, that's Roman territory at one point. You heard? Roman you know what I'm saying? The Roman Empire.
And the part that's going close to Ethiopia, they call that little thing in the part that's near Ethiopia a freak. That's where they get their Africa. That little area. But look, it was a real small little for about 1,000, 1,200 years. That was called. It was a Roman province. Called that freak.
That tied to the Carthaginians.
Right.
The Punic War.
Facts. And shout out to you asked me for a shout out. I want to shout out a Carthaginian. The matriarch ditto, where we get the math equation ditto from. When you research her, she's attached to King Matin, another Negro, and that's the Carthaginian look before Septimus and all these other peoples. They're the she is the reason why certain mathematical equations are there. Her name is Ditto, and that is she's the eponym for that same Ditto, and she's in the line of King Matin, who's in the line of the Carthaginian, Phoenician, Tyranian kings.
Slide down though, Monte. Well, they've seen that. Slide down. We gotta get through these slides. We gonna get to the earlier time. That's when the pop going boom pop. Get y'all popcorn ready. It's a timeline. We gave you this timeline. We're showing you though. You know, Rome's the referee. This is Rome saying this. It's not us. That's why we showed you that Rome is using these terms like Niger, where the word Negro is going to be tied to them, no doubt. People such as Simon are going to be identified, which is Simon in the Bible. He would be a Jew, what we call in English today. He's Yahudi. You know what I'm saying? He's with Barnabas. He's with Paul, for all my Bible folk out there, right? But he's described definitely as black. Now, Niger develops over time, as we show you, and gets to Iberia, and the word Negro comes about. That's the origin of that. That's the ethnogenesis. Now, within that, we never said, the party's never going to say, because there was Roman people also being described as Niger. There was people outside of being considered Yahudi who are also being described as Niger. We're not just, at that time, the Romans ain't saying that. So at this time, just like how we know in today's time, everybody being described as Negro ain't all the same ethnic nationality based off that time frame of lineage and how they correlated it at that time. Rome, by the way, Rome. Now, at this point, this timeline is organized by turning points that change documentary language, a Roman imperial reclassification. That's right, as I just broke down. After the Judean revolt, that's why we got to make sure you understand this time frame, right? Christian imperialization don't happen until 332 AD, right? And it's an Islamic conquest in Iberian contact zones, right? That don't happen until after 600 AD. And it says the Portuguese, Spanish, Atlantic expansion, and the legal theological paperwork of the conquest. That don't happen until the 15th century. So as we talk about that period, we showed you the maps, right? 70 to 135 AD. And I'm doing this, and I wouldn't like to slow down. Some people like me to do, but that's why we put it on the screen. So as I go through this, because I know this, we in that century. Go to the 2nd, 3rd century right there. You see Roman ethonyms, provincial geography. I want y'all to see that. We're going to walk it through. Slide it down, though, Monte, so we can keep it moving. I ain't going to read all that. It's stuff. All right, boom. We get to the Portuguese expansion along the West African coast and into the Atlantic is paired with new documentary regimes, trade licenses, which we're going to show you. Matter of fact, Monte, you know what we're going to do? On this screen right here, we're going to stop for a minute. We're going to show them the licenses. We're going to show them the license because this is where they see our what we do, and then we need them to show them where we get it from. Like this is a real document, you know what I'm saying? That is tied to this time frame, tied to Castile, Aragon, Portugal. This is the original people in Iberia dealing with using the term Negro as it's developed, going back to Niger, where they got it from. I don't give a damn if they Germanic, living in Iberia or not. They're not the only group of people in Iberia. Like it's not dark-skinned people being described as Niger and Iberia. It just shows you that. From the 1st, 2nd century, 3rd century, as Rome is already saying it. Not me. Well, go ahead when you be ready. Show them the contract. It's the first one. We're going to walk up to Queen Anne. Show them the first.
The contract, you see.
Up too. We're going to show how that Negro contract walks up.
All right, let me see which one it is.
I mean, point to it?
Yeah.
Hold on. It's going to be this one right here. We're going to use Braille. Let me know if this works.
Oh, Braille?
Yeah, this one. That's it.
Yeah.
Braille.
All right, yeah.
Braille one. This is the example. We're going to come back to the screen, but I want to show this first. This is where this one pop up because it fits right in the timeline. So y'all don't think I'm capping. It's coming from a whole nother academy. You know what I'm talking about? I know we on Maroon time with this one on the solstice, but it's the ethnogenesis. You heard? Shortest day, longest night. A lot of fire in the sky tonight. You heard me? For the longest night. You know what I'm saying? In the season.
All right, let's see. There we go.
Yeah. Make it a little bit bigger if you can.
No, I can't. Hold on.
Okay, no pressure. I want to. Can you read from that?
Yep.
Can you read it?
Yeah, hold on. Let me make sure it's big for everybody else, though.
So I get ready for this thing real quick while you do that.
Yeah, it look like it's straight. Go that way. All right, so first off, the Asiento de Negro and international law. So for some of y'all who've been with us, we didn't broke down Asiento many times, but it's very important if you are not familiar. Basically, the Asiento was the way that people were being transported through the Portuguese and through Spain. They had this contract that they was giving out, and if you had the contract, you basically had the right to be able to transport whatever, sometimes including people, but not always so-called slaves. But this is important, so I'm gonna break it down. All right, so this is from Brill. So the intro, the year 2007 marked the 200th anniversary of the beginning of the abolition of the transatlantic slave trade, causing one of the largest forced migrations in the history of humankind. The trade was not the result of aggressive entrepreneurial activity outside of law and order. For a long period, European states had tried to organize the trade within a legal framework. In addition to agreements with African states and trading partners, which in large part were defined by the Africans, a decisive role in these attempts were played by agreements among European states in regard to African trading posts, trade monopolies, and terms of supply. Thus, for a long period, the basis of slave trade was formed by the 200-year-old history of the Asiento de Negro, the contract by which the Spanish colonial administration tried to ensure the supply of slaves to their colonies. The Asiento was at no time merely a Spanish issue, and so in the 18th century, the treaty found its way into international European law. This article aims to deal with the concept of the Asiento, to show its development and to search for the basis of the exceptional position of the Asiento de Negro within an international legal framework. All right, so then we got the definition. Between the 16th and 18th century, the Spanish term asiento denoted a treaty between the Spanish crown and a legal person, that is, a private person or a company, by which the crown rented to the contracting party for a defined period the monopolistic right to merchandise a certain commodity. Asiento were often concluded in connection with public debt. Now, I hope y'all following this. For purchasing public obligations and annuities, the lender, in lieu of reimbursement, received an asiento, which meant a monopoly for a certain commodity and or a certain geographical area. In particular, the asiento will result in a great impact for the economy of Spanish American colonies, because the treaty secured or should secure fixed revenues for the crown and the supply of the region with certain commodities, whereas the contracting party bore the risk of the trade. In addition, it seemed that by placing asientos, the implementation and control of the colonial monopolistic system, which reserved the right of trade with American to Castilians, could be enforced. All right.
So in general, what people must separate just to get where a good understanding, Spain dealt more with what we consider to be slavery. England, which we'll show you, dealt more with servitude, indentured willing contracts. Now, the England situation ended up getting bastardized in America, but let's make a distinction that the Portuguese are hiding crypto Jews and they're willing to do anything to be a part of something new, because in 1492, they got to go. The same year that they find this place, everyone finds this place, and Jews fund the finding of the place. They got to leave in the Alhama decree. They know the ancient pathways in the biblical text when you see ancient pathways or old pathways, you will understand that they knew the ancient pathways. That doesn't mean they were from here. But just to give you the context, they had refuge in this land a long time. So in 1492, it's advantageous for the Portuguese to play with anyone. And Spain is the top dog, but Portugal got some say because they're the shipping ship guys, Portugal and Dutch. They are really the heavy sea people. And they're the same people, funded by the same people. So I just want y'all to get the context that slavery is coming in with Spain, and that is on a 40% level. They are still using almost a managerial system of indenturement with a lot of their people. But that is a Spain thing. Portuguese is hiding under this situation because they got to go. And it's easy for them to mix in America. But English, they're dealing with indentured servitude.
I'm glad you said that. Right? So Negroes, in all different meaning, this contract is going to be where before race theory is nowhere close, there's no African race, there's no Mongolian race, you know what I mean? This is already in the contracts tied to these crowns coming out of the Inquisition, Portuguese, Castile, you know what I'm saying? Lusitania, right? Iberia, I showed you the map. Going off the Roman terms of people that being persecuted now, especially going into 1492, who will be described as either in the region of Mauritania, because they're dark skinned, they're going to be classified based off their lineage and their religion, as we call it today, the religion. You know what I'm talking about? Their creed. So at that point, that's why they know that word Asiento. You know, it says denoted treaty. These are treaties being done with Negroes, by the way, meaning against people that's being put into that licensed treaty position before America technically is being developed on a large level.
Yes.
I want you to see that contract right there.
So that's 15. That's early 1500s, and you got 100 years before England, before 1619 in the Jamestown, Virginia situation. 100 years.
This is before that, right?
Yeah.
100 years before, because that's 1515, right?
All right, yeah, that's why I was doing it for a reason. I showed you that.
We got 100 years to show you Spain is doing something, and then we jump into the other side.
All right,
so it's 100 years.
Put that in the chat for him because we can't read the whole thing.
Yeah. All right, hold on one second.
Hey, go ahead and subscribe to Maroonville because this whole thing will be dropped in the for the solstice. I'm gonna drop the whole thing in we're gonna find a way to get all this inside our Patreon.
It's in the chat now, y'all.
For sure. Boom. So we done showed you that. Now, all right, now watch this. Go to page 9 of that slide. I got we gotta move down. We got so much information, right, on this timeline, on this last. We might go a little over Monte tonight. This is our last one for the year. We're gonna make sure we get this right.
Yeah, I figured.
All right, as long as you know, we're gonna be on point going into the new year. But this one right here, the ethnogenesis of us, the Negro, is very important.
It's important though. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So medieval map, we told you about that.
T.O.
We've been saying it, I've been saying it at least. That is tied to literally the European, if you're gonna say, or Roman ideal of navigation and who is where in the world, right? This is the person by the name of Isidore Seville tradition. This is in the 12th century, right? So if you think God is, when I showed you the teal map before, right? I want you to know that I went and dug in the crates, and I'm showing you that this is something that from the 12th century easy going into this time frame of Asiento de Negro being passed. This is the same ideal they got in 1492 of the world. All right, that's why I want this to be. Now we showed you the other map of where the Mediterranean is and who's there. It's black folk all over that area, right? I'm just saying in general, Negroes, people being called Negro, right? But I will slide down. We're gonna keep it going. I want to make sure that you see the TO map. If y'all watch the series, we showed this how long ago? 2 weeks ago. I keep up. We've been showing us, you know what I mean? I'm trying to keep it all in context. You heard me? I'm showing another map. I'm trying to tell y'all. I gave y'all one for this year. I gave y'all one for this one right here now. It's pressure. All right, here we go. All right, so the Portuguese Maritime Empire, Asiento de Negros in place. Footprint. You know what I mean? This is the 15th century, right? You see that, right? Right.
Yep.
Yeah, make sure y'all keep going. I want to make sure y'all see the Portuguese early. I got a little, this right here ain't no joke. I'm gonna walk y'all up till we get into that heat. This is the warm-up. Because I'm just showing you little things that might have been missed on the solstice, you heard me? That I could have shown you when we was doing the walk with the Roman referee thing, you heard me? Papal bulls. Slide. Yeah.
No, I'm trying to zoom.
All right, so let me be ready. All right, Papal bulls are named from the bulla seal attached to authenticate official papal documents in the 15th century. Bulls are a part of the legal theological infrastructure that European crowns used to claim religious sanction for expansion, conquest, and monopoly. Now, monopoly, we spell it differently over here on our side, on the American Maroon side, but they got theirs, we got ours. Here, I want you to see that though. Yeah. You think we were playing with you on the solstice? No, I'm not playing with y'all on the solstice. So that's the documented thing here. The Papal Bull, this document. Keep sliding. I want to make sure that's done. All right, so primary source, anchor. I know y'all like sources, right? So this is all in there, right here. I'm gonna show it on the screen real quick. You make sure y'all all seeing it, Monte? Nah, y'all seeing this, right?
Yep.
We in the 15th century. Asiento de Negro, right?
Yep.
Oh wait, right there. 15th century church state paperwork tied to the papal bulls we showed you on the slide, right? Pope Nicholas V, we brought him up before too. Them diverses, 1452. Pope Nicholas V, Romanus Pontifex. I brought this up before too. Pope Alexander. Is that who that gonna be with the V?
6.
The 6. Okay, see, I mean the Roman. I ain't
Intercatera.
I'm gonna mess it. Intercatera. I brought this up before, right, Monte? I done brought all these things up, right? Okay, modern ecclesiastical. Yeah. Which is gonna be tied to obviously the Torah, but then the Romans obviously, set up their own ecclesiastical, situation. So response. Vatican Press Office, that's right. Vatican Press Office joint statement on the doctrine of discovery. What is it? Is it that's March 30th in 2023? We was just coming out the pandemic, ain't it?
Yeah, the end of it, yeah.
Yeah. Referencing the above bulls and clarifying their status in Catholic teaching. All right? They're clarifying it, right? Now, everything we just showed you, this happened as they're being the referee. Now, this is my reference and links. So we're going to go to the slide. Let's go to the next section because I know we got time.
Section 2. Yeah, hold on.
I don't want to, because, we're going to let the whole thing drop. But this is just to make sure you see, if you don't think we have it, this is where we get to Blackamoor. We're going to get to that part, right? So, just so everybody understands this word Negro, right? In Iberia, right? Or Europe, as we showed you last week a little bit, dealing with the red race thing, because some people think this word Negro originally started with the indigenous people, and that the indigenous people were the first ones being called Negroes, even though there's dark-skinned people that are also in history being called Negroes, right? It's the Ethnogenesis now. Now, Section 2, post-1492 collapse. Yeah, this is where everything's collapsing. Asiento de Negro, we just showed you Asiento de Negro, the Papal Bulls and all that, lead to why they're collapsing. No matter if you from out of North Africa, you could be in the Guinea, you could be in Europe, you heard me? If you get caught up in the trade of that Asiento right there, they don't give a damn if you a Jew, a Muslim, a Saracen, a heathen. You could be an Indian later on after 1510.
Right.
So at the point, Blackamoor and Negro de Guinea in the Atlantic War. This is again 1492. This is at the start. So they're not even in America fully yet, right? Obviously 1492. They say Columbus made it to America, right? You know what I'm saying? And he had the Nino brothers on the boat, and they would be niggas. I'm gonna make sure y'all understand that here. But at the same time, before 1492, European descriptive language relied on geography, religion, and legal status, rather than what we call today the race theory, 1775, right?
Yep.
It is within this framework, Blackamoor and Negro de Guinea refer to different populations. So these both people are black, and based off the Asiento Negro, they both will all be all Negroes, ain't it? Anybody disagree? Anybody disagree? Is it not though?
No.
All right. Oh, it says for different legal purposes. All right. Now, after 1492, Iberian and later Atlantic bureaucracies, right? It says collapse these distinctions into a single administrative category tied to labor and enslavement. Like as you said, the Occidental Negro dealing with the Roman Catholic situation. I mean, the Roman Catholics in Iberia going into West Africa. That's enslavement. That's that chattel slavery everybody talk about, dealing with the Guinea and you being, and it still had nothing to do with your complexion and skin. It had everything to do with your lineage.
And I'm not gonna disrespect you, but I'm talking about those people that think everything is Africa slaves. That first 40 years in that coast and all that, you got to understand. Once 1492 and that decree comes out, Portuguese people are running from Spain back to Portugal as their headquarters, but they also try to secure their investments. So they run into the Cape Verdes because they own all that. They run into Saint Domingue because they run all that. So these are the first people that round up by the interior New Guinea people at this time, because they're not calling them African neither. Those Guinea people are selling the banished Jews into this Spanish slavery at that particular time. And then they fight amongst each other and at the same time get rid of their undesirables in their tribes. But the beginning of that 40, 50 years, if you want context on who came here, you look at those Portuguese, Spanish names, and you'll see that they were forced to take those names.
That money. Now, hey, distinctions. As you said, before 1492, you see it there. Y'all can go back and read it. I'm putting it on the screen for y'all presentation-wise. This is my winter solstice gift here. It says Negro de Guinea emerged as the Iberian commercial classification. During Atlantic expansion, the term combined a color descriptor derived from Latin Niger with Guinea, right? A broad Atlantic trade zone encompassing West and Central Africa, including the Congo and Angola region. This label was applied at point of extraction and functioned primarily with trade, licensing, and cargo documentation. That would be tied to the Asiento de Negro, right, y'all? We all agree?
Yes.
At point of extraction.
Exactly. I was just about to say the same thing.
Of extraction, my grandfather would say it 3 times. At point of extraction, that label was put.
He on his Umar shit.
Prior to 1492, these categories were not interchangeable. Blackamoor denoted residence and subjecthood within Europe. Where is it located at?
Europe. Also, hey, so they've been saying legal this whole time,
and they
right?
should have said mainly south, but it did spread to the north.
Yeah, and they kept saying legal. Everyone you've been saying is legal, commercial. So Blackamoor denoted residence, which in law, that means servitude.
Not chattel.
It wouldn't be chattel, but it's just residence isn't good. It's not a good thing.
You serving the
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Nah. And it's saying, while Negro de Guinea denoted captives designated for transport and labor, the distinction was administrative and legal, not biological.
Exactly.
The year 1492 marks a bureaucratic turning point. Papal authorization, royal monopolies, the Atlantic expansion transformed descriptive language into scalable legal categories. Older European distinctions lost relevance as color-based labels became administratively actionable across imperial systems. Once transported to the Americas, previously distinct populations were governed under the same colonial codes and recorded using simplified labels. Mixing occurred after administrative collapse, producing composite communities such as Creole societies, Maroon settlement, shout out to my Maroons outside, yeah, and Gullah, shout out to my Gullah, Geechee, Corridor, You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what
What's
it
that?
is.
The foundation of the ethnogenesis? That's the
Yes,
foundation.
that was
We're about to go into the 16 level. That's the foundation.
We in America now with this, right?
Yeah. We in South America about to go to North. Okay.
Right now, no. Okay, slide on up. I want that Asiento de Negros 1492 thing to stick. You heard me? Everybody be talking about this slave trade. They don't ever talk about these laws being passed tied to this term Negro. So we gonna go ahead and get you see. You heard me? The autonomous way. You heard me? It says this section. Oh, what happened? Slide up.
Nah, that's it. It's the end.
That's the end. Okay, that's it. Slide section 3. I'm moving good. Cause it was a lot more. I had to try to shorten it, Monte. You heard me? I had to try to condense this. Convergence. Being America. Now we almost done. I want you to walk up from 1492. Asiento de Negro. Yeah. Blackamoor, Negro de Guinea, and indigenous nations. Because we gonna be, after this point, we in America. After requirement till 1510, where those same documents tied to everything we showed you, tied to the Intercatera, the Papal Bulls, the Dum Diversus, the Doctrine of Discovery, etc., right? Tied to those, them popes that we mentioned in Nicholas and them, right? It's gonna show you that these same people, right, and these crowns, right? I'm showing you the facts. That's what it is. Have distinctions of these different populations within the jurisdictions of Rome, and they understand the complexion who around them basically. Now they know it says Blackamoor presence in early Americas predates large-scale plantation slavery, which means before the plantation system was set up, tied to the 13 colony system, right? Spain and Portugal and them were dealing with these people. And Monte, this is where I'm going to point to this. Matter of fact, we're going to go to this right after this. I want y'all to see. I ain't playing with y'all on the ethnogenesis of this conversation. You heard me? It says European expeditions function as sailors, soldiers, artisans, interpreters, and servants, indentured servitude, not chattel, not tied to the Negro de Guinea. Now we all niggas, Asiento, but they ain't coming from the same areas. It says the mass arrival of the Negro de Guinea populations intensified during the 16th century, which is going to be tied to when the British, King Charles II, Royal African Company, gets what? The Asiento de Negro from who? Queen Catherine, the House of Brazaga. You see where I'm going, Monte?
Yeah.
Y'all see this? I'm showing you contractual situation now. I'm trying to say this, we can say it here, publicly speaking. However, convergence occurred most frequently in zones where colonial authority was weakest. Obviously, in our area, the Southeast. You heard me? Shout out to all my folk out the Southeast, North America. You heard me? Got family. You've been labeled a Negro, Asiento. You heard me? And you've been in some kind of movable, chattable, or whatever indentured situation. You know what I mean? And that's both sides, the Blackamoor and the Guinea. You know what I'm talking about? If you got it in your heritage, I ain't knocking it. We all niggas.
Hey, this is where you at right here, right?
That's where I'm at. Go ahead, though.
So look, I like how, so it's important that we explain like the context of, because when we doing it, we at at a different level with it. Sometimes it's good to slow it down so they really see, because they don't understand. It's just like if you're not a mathematician and somebody come and tell you a math problem, y'all got an inside joke because you understand it. And so, but to the average person, they may not even find the humor in it because they don't get it, right? It may be above their head. But when you read this right here, so it's telling you that convergence happened, which is basically ethnogenesis, right? It's saying that it happened. And ethnogenesis, this is a blending, a mixture. They say it happened where colonial authority was the weakest. So here go the whole thing, though. Colonial authority was weak for a very, very long time because these little ass colonies wasn't hitting on nothing. That's why people was leaving. They'll have an indentured contract to come with these colonies. Before you know it, they going down south or to the Midwest. They ain't even hearing about none of that 13 colony stuff no way. So all the colonial zones was weak. That was the whole problem that they had. And why it was a problem in America, because they couldn't keep nobody in the colony because they was dipping off to go to these maroon, what they call maroon places, but it was really just where the indigenous folks was. And like they just said, Blackamoors that was already in the European system, they was getting up out of there, bro. So you got to understand that the whole Asiento, basically, all it shows was there was a way to transport people, even though they don't like to talk about this, because when you check the Asiento, it's not pointing to a whole bunch of African slaves. It's pointing to a whole bunch of Europeans using that system. But you know, hey, that's why you got to break this stuff down. Max showing y'all this convergence. So it's clear that it was a distinct mixing that was going on, and they knew about it, and they was trying to control it because they knew what was going to happen. But yeah, it's on you, Matt.
Listen here. That's why Monte do this like that. Humble with the news. You heard me? I guess I know I be moving fast, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. It's a lot of information we impact, and drop. So I slow down. I'm gonna try my best to do better, because y'all tapping in with us, right? Tap in, right? But as we move through it, that's why sometimes I like to listen, social media wise, to everybody's perspectives. And there's a lot of jewels people do drop. You hear me?
Yeah.
But the foundation of where this comes from is where they're missing the mark, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why this foundation has to be laid in our ethnogenesis, so we can leave the debate of certain things alone about who being lumped into this term Negro based off the Asientos, right? Because, hey, Monte, wouldn't the Asiento de Negro be attached to the one drop rule?
Yeah.
Wouldn't the Asiento de Negro be attached to Lampiza de Sangre?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you got once you get labeled a Negro, no matter where you're coming from, right?
Yeah.
You automatically are in the system, as we call systematic today racism, right? Racism. You know what I'm talking about? Yep. Okay. And how that developed in their systematic way of their ethnogenetic manifest destiny. That was their manifest destiny to lump us and keep us in a certain box. That box.
Right.
You know
it was best for business.
Keep getting changed and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Economically.
And every time it changed, it get worse.
Yeah, it's gonna be like that. Hey, say, but anyway, you highlighted it. You slide down. Cause I think that they can see it on the screen though. Like I said, we got information. Y'all, we ain't even there where we want to go yet. Now, listen, that's why it's the last one for the year.
That's really it for it's three. It's it for three.
Good, great. So now what we gonna get to is show, cause I got to go with 9 now.
1600, 1619.
Yeah, because we already are in the 1600s. Just give y'all a short little clip. We showed you everything tied to the Asiento de Negro, and I'm gonna show you after. Matter of fact, know it. Before 9 does that, show the Asiento de Negro.
Yeah, do America. That. I want to heat up this coffee. I mean this tea.
Yeah. Go ahead. Show the Asiento Negro with Queen Anne.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So as he gonna now walk a genealogy, that's the special right here now, of Anthony Johnson. I want y'all to see this too. And you know what? Before you come back to, I want you to 1712, and right after that, Monte, go to Jack Forbes.
Right.
And after that, we're gonna let him rock. We're gonna do a little walk with something, with an individual as an example of genealogy. 9 ether now. It's on 9. Dealing with a person y'all all know popularly as Anthony Johnson. Shout out to all the Johnsons out there. You hear me? American Negroes. Queen Anne's speech on Asiento de Negro. Yeah, 1712. What was going on in 1712 in America? We got the Yamasee Wars. Shout out to the Yamasee. We got things happening in America, right? This is even before the Stoner Rebellion. This is before other things is happening, right? And it's
them little ass Connolly struggling.
Right. Like, yeah, go down to the introduction. Now I'm gonna read a little bit. I'm gonna give him a little time. It says established in 1595. Now I want you to see the dates because the dates are going to relate to when I show you the dictionaries. Monte, right? Jack Forbes, in his book, chapter 7, dealing with mulatto. All right, this is important, right? Dealing with the ethnogenesis of the Negro. You know what I'm talking about? Now, if y'all gonna say that it didn't happen, that's gonna be on y'all. Some of y'all gonna feel y'all fully this because you just got lumped in politically, and some of y'all gonna say y'all mixed. Cool, whatever. That's just the Negro conversation, right? But either way, established in 1595. the Asiento de Negros was a monopoly, as we just showed you. Just to show you that Queen Anne is getting it from, well, she getting it from back then, and it go back to when? 1492. Right?
Yep.
I'm going to see that now. And it says Asiento was given to individuals, private, joint stock companies. And Anthony Johnson, I think he tied to one of them companies right there. How he came. Or governments for a period of 5 to 30 years. Ooh, look at that. Although access to Spanish colonial markers had long been viewed as a key to political and economic success, Atlantic commerce, the Asiento contract was also posed significant risks since taxes were calculated based on the terms specified in the agreement rather than the number of enslaved people actually delivered. It was first granted to the British and signed on behalf of Queen Anne and Philip V in 1713 as part of the treaty of, I always mess up that treaty name. Utrecht. How y'all pronounce that out there in the chat? Utrecht.
You know I'm like you, so I'm not even gonna try.
So my geek cheat pronounce.
Hey, we don't care how it's pronounced. We know it exists.
Yes, right. All right, keep it moving. A series, I guess treaty would be Asientos, huh? Ain't it? Or however, a series of agreements.
Yes.
Yeah. A series of agreements between European powers, including the War of Spanish Succession, given the official charter of the treaty, the Asiento, right? I just said it right, was widely recognized international law, responsibly for the conduct of the trade was eventually transferred to the South Sea Company, founded in 1711, which received its cargo of enslaved, they ain't gonna say African, right? This is recreational time frame, but you're gonna say Negroes, because they don't know.
This is revisionist.
Revisionist when they even use this term, because at that time we just showed you, that's why we've been saying this consistently. There's no race theory saying this term, everybody's an African at that time. They're using the word that's tied to that contract, Negro, right? From the Royal African Company. Who is the Royal African Company founded by? King Charles II.
Yep.
Duke of York, New York. There are black or more people tied to this term. They actually calling people African at this time frame. You ain't gonna play with. You can't do that. You can't. Well, we've been lumped. That's the ethnogenesis we gotta accept. I ain't gonna lie on that part now. As you know, we share this word Negro out there. Yeah. Your lineage genealogy ain't gonna let you know which one it is by just going off what they decide to tell you what it is here. And now, I mean, Monte, I see you going because you didn't do the build on this, ain't it? Yeah.
Yep. So as soon as I seen this, so South Sea Company. So the conduct of the trade was eventually transferred to the South Sea Company. Okay, the South Sea Company was really this Rome them getting in the plate, and they took it from John Law and them. Mm-hmm. So John Law was Scottish, but he was messing with the French too. They was the first ones to sail the whole way through the Mississippi, and they had the trade on lock, and they had a joint stock company where they was doing business in Europe without the crown. Then next thing you know, this whole company gets shut down. This was in 1717. This happened when? So you see, this was founded in 1711.
And they got black lord proprietors. We done showed to it.
Right.
Yes.
Like,
so it was a takeover going.
That's old. Yeah, but just because you jump back to it, we done showed the two lord proprietors that are Negro. Yep. That's messing around on the other side. He is my fault. He is from French, but he's dealing with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I only did that now to set you up alley-oop wise on a break. You heard me to show that so we won't move too fast. Though we on a break, you got to move as fast as possible. You heard me to get to that basket. We're gonna touch down on this. That it within the context of why we're showing you at this time frame, and obviously we walked up from 1492. That means we know people are in America's been touched down on, as we call it today, dealing with people being called Negro, Negro de Guinea, Negro before Negro de Guinea, Negro de Terra, dealing with Brazil, Portuguese, right? We're going to give it all the credit to what documented is there. That all are be tied to what we call the Asiento de Negro contract, tied to what they call the slave trade. No matter what crown or whatever entity is taking part in trade, commodity-wise, dealing with the term Negro. Monte, what you think about that?
Yeah. So like, I think that the main thing that people, if they're trying to follow along, is understand that they was creating names to take people away from their nationality and use it through international law because they knew they was taking them across the water. So you could be from anywhere, and if you got on one of these ships that was tied to an Asiento contract, you are now a Negro. It don't matter if you came from Switzerland, Africa, Jamaica. It don't matter if you happen to hop on one of these ships, you were a Negro, and now they can rewrite your story to be whatever it is they wanted to call it, even in African. This is what we trying to show y'all. Like, this ain't new. Go ahead,
you can be brought from over here in America in that time frame and brought to the Caribbean somewhere and be called a
Negro. And still be a Negro.
How does that work if you don't look like the people that they call the Blackamoor Negro or the Negro de Guinea? How can you fit amongst these people if you don't look like these people that they described as being tawny, brown, swarthy, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, copper colored, you know what I mean? Brown skin, different variations. However, these people, this term Negro, Asiento. We keep slide. One more slide on this link right here. Queen Anne now. Oh yeah, I want you to see this. Look, they can go look at the time frame in the little picture right there. This is the solstice. We ain't making nothing up.
Oh, let me put this in the chat before I forget.
Hey, show London. All
right, hold on.
Show London, please, sir. Right there. Asiento de Negros. Show London in this link right here in that picture. I see London right there. London. Look, London. Remember I said London now. Ooh, London.
London always been in the mix.
London and the Negro. Asiento.
They go together.
Everybody ain't coming out to Guinea dealing with them London folk being called Negroes, by the way. If you think that everybody that is West African or no, that just came into Europe somehow because of what European you magically think happened, and they were already in the region, going back to what Rome already told you as the referee, then we all messed up. Blackamoor, English Blackamoor for the Moor, and that's prior to the Muslim situation coming into West Africa, North Africa, Northwest Africa, or the Iberia from the 6th century AD. Yeah. Make sure you see that. But either way, it's correlating to this right here. We're showing you right here. All right. So now, one more thing. Now I'm giving my last break. I'm gonna make the pass. Show us the Jack Forbes joint, please, real quick. Go down to the second page and enlarge it if you can. Yeah, make it bigger. Cause we only need that right side. I might have to see. I'm gonna have to do it like this for this one. Oh yeah, you got it though. Okay, you got it though. No, I don't. Monte on the sausage. Y'all getting that work from Monte right now, homeboy. With the new boy, he working that board. You heard me?
All right, hold on. Let me see. There you go. All right, yeah.
Oh, it say Native Americans as mulattoes at the top, ain't it?
Yep.
Damn, ain't it? And you got a mixture with the Negro. You still indigenous. You native. You are the blood of America, but you still a Negro based off of the systematic political ideal of this contract going back from when it started. You know what I mean? Asiento de Negro, right? So you see 1590 started off before on the other page. Should we show them other page real quick? Go into 1590 or no, I'm gonna read from that term. No, we're gonna read from that term. No, don't do it. Read from the term. The term was borrowed from the Spanish, Asiento de Negro, and usually referred to persons met in the Caribbean or South America. Early Spanish definitions of the term make it highly probable, indeed virtual, certain that much persons were usually half African, half American. John Mishu, look him up, as already noted, defined mulatto in 1599. 9 years after that, 1590, right there. 1617, right? 1617. Remember this man we're going to be talking about in a few minutes, named Anthony. And later as persons who was the child of a Moro. You know that Moro word going to go back to Mauritania that the Greeks are telling you about. Mauritania ain't tied to West Africa, the Negro de Guinea. Moro is going to be tied to Or, but Blackamoor. I guess that's the English translation, right? Monte, what you think about that? You see that? Ain't that
yeah.
Okay, yeah. We all on the same page out there. You follow me, right? You see that right there. Okay. And one from another nation, which means if you a Blackamoor, and you mix with any other nation, that could be Negro de Guinea, that could be an Indian, you know what I'm talking about? That could be a white person, as y'all would call it today.
Yep. Red person, it don't matter.
That's the first mulatto. The first mulatto is the Blackamoor Negro that's mixing with any other nation of people.
Yep, because they wanted to track their Europeans first.
Yeah, that part. It says John Floro, by the way, 1611. Bible, KJV. Remember now, people game does not include mulatto in his dictionary, but has muletto. You see, they get to eat. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. A little or young mule. I don't like that though. It says and mulo. I don't like him at all. A horse mule. He was disrespectful. Also a bastard or misbegotten. But this guy right there, I brought him up before. Henry Cockerham, 1623. Oh, remember, this is in between. Now I'm about to show you some shit. Now I'm trying to do an alley real quick. I'm gonna give you references to be showing you where this word Blackamoor more ain't got nothing to do with
Blackamoor.
Blackamoor is right there. Negro, Blackamoor, Negro de Guinea, distinctions being made by them. They know. Thomas Blunt, 1656. Oh, continues. The Mishnu definition, mulatto, you see Spanish right there in parentheses, the son of a Blackamoor and a man of another nation. Or contra, one that is of a mongrel. Ooh, see that word mongrel? Ooh, complexion. A mongrel complexion, go to the race theory. They're not white people either. Just to let y'all know. You see that, right? Y'all see that, right? Okay, now. A mulatto is a great mule. Edward Phillips. I'll get these names in your name. I want to make sure I say them. 1658 states mulatto, Spanish again, one whose father is a Blackamoor and his mother of another nation, or contrarily. But in 1702, John Kersey broadens the scope of the concept. A mulatto, the son of a Negro, Asiento de Negros, or a Indian woman and of a man of another nation.
Mulatto.
Or a Negro man and a woman of another country. It should be noted that this nicely coincides with Virginia's legal definition. You know, the urban Indians love to talk about Walter Plucker and everything that happened in Virginia. 1705, that a European American mixed blood is a mulatto. Slide up. I want you to see that. Now,
European American mixed blood is a mulatto.
Yeah.
Sit with that so they can make sure they understand that.
Yeah, this we talking about that Negro term. All these people fall underneath the context of Negro in the Ethnogenesis based off the dictionary here. You know what I'm talking about? And this from before the 1600s or 16th century, going into, the 1700s, Queen Anne. You know what I'm talking about? Using the term Asiento de Negro. You heard me? Yeah.
And European don't mean white.
Right, that part, because Blackamoors are coming out of Europe. They're not coming out of goddamn West Africa, Negro de Guinea. And it says Chambers Encyclopedia, 1727, 41 states, mulatto, a name given in the Indian. Look, an Indian man, in the Indies, right, to those who are begotten by a Negro man or on an Indian woman or an Indian man on a Negro woman. This significant definition, so like Kersey's of 1702, this is in between, the Asiento Negro contract situation, right, using the term, undoubtedly reflects Spanish usage, going back to the Asiento de Negro, as well as practice in South Carolina, and other English colonies. The various dictionaries of M. Bailey, and you see all that right there. It's all right there on the screen. Mauritania, a native of Mauritania, Africa, a Blackamoor. You see that? It said Mauritania, it say West Africa. They know the distinction. They know there's different groups of people being labeled Black, Negro, coming into America, and then they're all coming out of West Africa, and they definitely are tied to what we call things like religions of Abraham. Go ahead, now. Slide.
Oh, no. All right, pull up the...
Yeah, I got you.
It's on
Mary
you now.
John.
It's on you.
Hey, real quick, though.
Matter of fact, let me present it, because I want to show something.
Oh, no, that's even better. Hey, but real quick, before you start that, though, so what Mac was just showing y'all is all of the... So in law, he's talking about precedent, right? So they using these terms, and they showing you in different dictionaries and different time frames, they keep evolving the word mulatto to make sure you tracking what he just showed you. Go ahead now. I'm going to take my screen off now. It's on you.
It's on you. Yeah, this is interesting. This is so good. We've been walking this for a couple weeks. Go ahead now.
I got it right now.
I'm looking for it. Let's
Am
see.
I on screen?
Yeah, I see it. Hold on. There you go. It's up.
All right, hold on. Let me do one thing. All right, this is the Royal Proclamations of England. We walked you up to England just to show you in 1600s, when England gets here, King James is against the Pope. The Pope is against King James. King James brings forth his own doctrine of jurisdiction. That's a biblical text, whether you know it or not. Every time you see a doctrine of jurisdiction in the form of a biblical text, whether it's Muhammad, whoever it may be, bringing forth a different ideology, not a different, but the same tenets with different ideologies attached to them. This is jurisdiction. 1600s, he's coming over here to usurp the Spanish dominion of the South that's pushing up. This is why Spain is not in Virginia at this time. He makes this treaty, an alliance with the Powhatan Nation and other nations, and gets the 13 colonies. When he's operating in indentured servitude and banishment. No slavery. But you can look at banishment as slavery because the people that they're banishing are the vagabonds, the criminals of England. So in this proclamation, I'm just going to move that real quick past all this. Hold up, they let me. Let me go to it. Okay. These are the list of the proclamations. I ain't going through them all. Banishing of vagabonds to America. It's one of his proclamations. That's 1603. So they were banishing vagabonds, criminals, and idle people that were disgruntled in the English kingdom to their new area. Boom. Transporting of women and children to foreign parts. That is all of their areas because they had British. They had Jamaica and a couple of other spots. Banishing of notorious offenders to Virginia. I'm going to focus on that real quick just to show you the times. Okay, important. Greenland, Finland, are right here. Nope. Did I pass it? Yeah, I passed it. Hold on. Here we go. Proclamation for the better and a more peaceable government of the middle shires of Northumberland, Cumberland, and Westminster. So I mean Westmoreland. I thought that was Westminster. They're trying to clear their area because they already made an agreement. They got their managers coming over. They got their servants coming over there, but they need to plaster the servants. So when they snatch you up, they send you to court. Boom, to get out of court, you got a choice. Hey, you're going to do 30 years or you get 7 years indenturement. Those people say what? Those vagabonds. They sign out. Send me to whatever colony. Now, they ain't telling these people where you're going. You're a criminal to them under the kingdom. So when they're banishing you, you're a criminal. A long proclamation of the prevention of disorder and outrages in certain shires, requiring that no person shall lease lands and tenements without sufficient surety that all persons shall assist in the pursuit of criminals. So you couldn't even lease land unless the people are looking for criminals at this time. The notorious offenders shall not receive bail except in open court. Why? Because in the open court, they're going to put you into work release. These are the work release masters. They're really not dealing with slavery, but they are dealing with slavery in the sense that once you get to their courts, just like today, you can get on the chain gang till this day. And it's lesser time when you deal with certain things in the criminal jail system. So I'm going to put this in here because we're going to jump from this. I just wanted to show you that they're banishing people. And these proclamations, they're banishing them for different reasons. Over there, you'll get, they were idle. They had idle laws, meaning you had to have a job. So it was certain banishments. Boom. We're going to jump to Anthony Johnson right now. Let me know if my screen changes or I got to go back out.
No, you're good. Anthony Johnson.
Okay.
Or you're not on Anthony Johnson.
No, I think I got to go out and come back in.
Yeah, you got to go out and come back in.
Okay, how you do that?
He's our example within all this Negro conversation. We all know Anthony Johnson's a Negro in America, right? So.
Damn, 9 kicked yourself.
I ain't asked him to go out like that.
he took it literal. Hold on.
I ain't asked him to do all that though.
My boy took it literal.
Yeah,
He was cooking, then cooked himself up out of here.
Hey, the kitchen hot. It was smoking. He had to open the door.
Mm-hmm.
He had to open the door. Hey, but what he was showing is it
There
still
you go.
correlates to everything we showed everything before. So without no pause, you know what I'm saying? As he come back, we gonna get to this Anthony Johnson. Y'all know who Anthony Johnson is. Antonio.
Yeah, I'm gonna share that screen now. I thought I touched leave studio. I was
Yeah, we seen.
You know that. Everybody seen that too.
They trying to stop the flow.
Yeah, I'm looking for
it.
I clicked the sign to leave the studio. Yeah. Okay, it'd be good though because this genealogy, Mary. We ain't talking about Mary or Jesus.
All right, we got you.
Yeah, there we go.
You got me?
Yeah, you up?
First.
Okay, the question is Anthony Johnson and the Johnson family, 1621 to 1880. Was he a Portuguese crypto Jew, Angoli, or English? I only put the King's Fountain there because he has, when historians speak of him, for one, the name Antonio is a Castilian name. It's Portuguese, Castilian, and not Spanish. So when people speak of him, in any context of attaching him to Angola or Portugal, the reason why they're attaching him is because the Portuguese name Antonio. He had no surname. So he leaves England at 22 years old with no surname and only a Castilian Portuguese first name, Antonio. Next record has him being here for 2 years, and he is a witness to a work dispute as Anthony John. Now, it's Anglicized here, but he's not baptized. It's Anglicized, but a lot of historians say this ain't him, but there's no proof that it exists otherwise that it ain't. He's in the Bennett plantation. There was a work dispute. He witnessed something. Others say that witness record is false, but I just put it there so if you run into the stumble of the Anthony John, there's no proof otherwise that it's not the same person. Then he shows up in a muster rolls as an indentured servant baptized with the full name Anthony Johnson, Anglicized under the English crown and the English church. That record is December 5th, 2024. Note, his wife, his future wife, because they're not married for another 3-4 years, Mary is recorded in the same muster. Mary was here before him. He came in 1621. Mary was here either on the 1619 project of people that got snatched by Dutch people and sold their indentured servant records to the Virginia company. She might be part of that, or she's part of a group that came in between that 2 years. There's 2 Marys on that first ship and 6 Marys on 4 of the next 8 ships that come in. Remember, a lot of people are using one name that are Portuguese. This is not an English thing. Their English is using 2 names. Now, Portuguese did use 2 names, but not when they were running. That's the telltale sign of a Jew hiding. All family members of higher Moorish status hiding too, because they hid under the same Jewish thing, because they both had a decree to leave Spain and what they call that small Iberian Peninsula in 1492. Okay, the ship James Anthony Johnson is recorded in Virginia sources as arriving to the colony aboard the James, 1621. He shows up in Virginia musters. We already said that. I'm going to get to Bennett. Edward Bennett is the wealthy London merchant that had his indentured contract. He worked for the Virginia Company. He was a planter who Antonio was indentured to for 7 years. Bennett sponsored large numbers of transported workers. Now they put including Africans and Europeans, just to let you know, from everywhere. Bennett was getting people from whoever wanted to come. But Bennett wasn't snatching people. He was signing you in. Yo, you want to do 7 years? Here go the benefits after the 7 years. So that's what Bennett is doing. Bennett is doing. And this is where you get the summary table of the genealogy land flow of Anthony and Mary Johnson. The first holder is Anthony. Anthony holds 200 acres after his servitude is up, because the English colony, until the time that Matt told you, 1715, adopts that whole Negrodom, but he comes in as a true descriptor of a Portuguese, because Portuguese are the only ones using Negro. You must understand that part in the 1500s to 1600s. Spain is using it to identify Portuguese people.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to keep that in context. So Johnson comes in under Antonio the Negro on the ship. When he's baptized, it's Anthony Johnson. After his 7-year servitude, he gets a headright system. Headright systems at that time were you had people that came and committed to an indentured servitude to you. So now you could get 50 acres per headright. So right here, he has 200 acres, which means he has 4 headrights. You don't count yourself in the headright system. You get the headright because you came out the servitude in proper standing. You standing on your square. His first 2 sons, John Johnson, remember, he only had 200 plus acres. His wife, I didn't put her up there. She had 120 married. Boom. But he only ceded 200 acres to these 2 kids. But they popped up. John Johnson Jr. and Anthony Johnson both blustered the hereditary heirs land on their time. So they took it further than mommy and daddy. They wilded out and left their situation with 700 acres to pass down. Now that's the second generation, Anthony Johnson. Okay, John Johnson split his 550 through his 5 heirs. Anthony Johnson split his 150 to 2 sons. The third generation, Anthony Johnson, remember it was 5 heirs, so most of them, this should show you Anthony's son of John Johnson. That's not Anthony's son, the brother. So John is taking his brother's name and naming his son after his brother, his little brother. Boom, so Anthony Johnson comes in, he got 150 acres. He willed it to Samuel and Richard and Mary Johnson. I didn't follow all the women because it's easier for paternal link down so that we could just show you 7 generations. Also, in the 4th and 5th generation, they having more kids, so I didn't focus on kids that had 30, 40 acres in the 1700s because I didn't think they would make it to the 1865, which was our goal, just to get them to civil war with their land.
Yeah.
So people that are looking at the family, y'all can take it further and grab those people and do justice to them. So now the 3rd generation, you got Anthony Johnson Jr.'s and John the 3rd. They both had similar 150, 125. You start to see that they either incur 5 or in the 4th generation, all of them give away 5.
Mm-hmm.
You have to look at that. So we're going to move to the 4th generation where, like I said, as the generation gone, there was more kids. In the 4th generation, I only grabbed 4 of the, I think it was 12 kids of the 2 3rd generation patriarchs. So these 4 are right here. And if you notice, Samuel Johnson has 80 acres. He seeds 75 during his life. And when he passes on later, he only passes on 75. Those people that are researching through Gemini, AI, and ChatGPT, make them pull up the willed probate information of each one. We didn't do nothing special to get this list. We just used protocol to work the AI and say, hey, who did he? They're not going to give you the whole line. If you say, hey, give me that, they're going to say it don't exist. When you go in there one by one and say, hey, Samuel Johnson, isn't that it? Oh, yeah, boom, boom, and they're going to do it for you. So we had to go one by one by one by one all the way up. So these Johnsons, you all notice that 2 of them gave away 5 acres. 3 of them gave away 5 acres. John Johnson, the 4th, kept his 70 and passed his 70 to his children. There's another person in the 4th generation who had 40 acres and yielded 5. A lot of times they yield 5 as marriage or they're trying to help someone up because there's no tax sale on it. So it's like they're plastering the area of Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware because all of this land started in Virginia, but by the time you get to the 5th, 6th, or 7th generation, they're in Maryland, Delaware, what they call the Demova Peninsula. So now you got the 5th generation coming, where the acreage is getting smaller, of course. But
man, what?
Yeah. That's why I didn't want to, in the 1700s, I didn't want to play with no one with 40 acres. You had to have 80 or 90 so I could I'm going to make it through. But like I said, there's more kids. So this doesn't look like that something happened. It's just that when the seeding goes on from 4th to 5th, I'm not putting all the kids there because I was just paternally trying to make sure I get those 2 lines, Anthony Johnson Jr. and John Johnson Jr., because they plastered the holdings of the heirs, try to make those 2 lines come straight out to the 1800s. So now we got William Johnson in the 5th generation with Samuel Johnson, his brother, and his sister Hannah Johnson. You notice it says past the heirs like estate transfer. Her acres were not her acres. She can live on it. She can develop it. She can do what she want with it. The deferred taxes came from William. This is like something that they wanted to make sure the women, by the time it got to the 1800s, you see shit getting crazy. So they wanted to make sure that the women were doing certain things and make sure that the next generation women would have that 15 acres. So you'll see when y'all looking at them what's going on. And now 1860 to 1870, you got John William Johnson Jr., son of Mary Johnson. He maintained land in Sussex County. His heirs, William John III, held land into 1880. Now, I didn't go in there and say, hey, who did they will land in 1880? Because we got to our point. We're going to try to take it to wherever, but whoever can assist, do so. I just want to show you this last part before I give it back to Mac. Right here, Generation 1. I wanted the AI to put the closest proximity war to the family of every generation so we can show the Negro continuity that is walking through this, brushing their shoulders off. Not to disrespect who lost different people. We're trying to give you the true understanding of what happened and how in the 1700s, when these things open up, that servitude where Anthony Johnson and all these Negroes can come over from the English County and put themselves into indenturement and then use the head right system to get land upon land and grow this. By 1700s, mid 1700s, that thing is almost non-existent, but it still exists, but it's a hard thing with the influx of true Northern German Europeans and consider the Black Germans, the Palatine Moors, and all these other people coming in. They were given the status because they fought in the Revolutionary War. The Hessian warriors of Germany, which were the Negroes, don't call them African. They like to say they are African Legion or whatever. But so this generation, Anthony, he went through that Powhatan situation right in his camp. His early years unfolded amid the Second Anglo-Powhatan War and conflict that devastated settlements along the James River, disease and massacre. By the 1640s, Anthony Johnson had survived famine, war, servitude to emerge as a free Negro planter. He and his wife married, acquired land through head rights and purchases, eventually holding more than 200 acres. Mary Johnson herself appears in records as a free woman capable of holding land, a fact remarkable even though the standards of the day. That's not true, but he's putting his little mix on it. The second generation dealt with Bacon's Rebellion and the post-rebellion Indian Wars of 1675 and 1670. They walked through that and made the system work for them in a time where certain people are being targeted. And remember, they're in the English colony, so if they're targeted by the Indians. They're not targeted by their own people. Third generation dealt with the Tuscarora Wars in their backyard, the aftershock of the coastal frontier conflict. But they came out of that to pass over 400 acres to about 7 heirs. The fourth generation here, Revolutionary War, like I just touched, the frontier of alarm. They're making it through this American Revolution brought uncertainty to Delmarva Peninsula. If you're researching Negroes with free people and land, that's the peninsula you search for more than anything. So in this particular generation, they're dealing with the Revolutionary War. The fifth generation in their backyard is the 1812 War and the Delaware Coastal Defense. Remember, I said their family had holdings in Maryland and Delaware prior to this. One note, the second generation John, the one with the 500 acres, 400 acres almost got stolen by a white person named John Johnson who put an ordinance in the local court. Why? Because John was in Maryland setting up another 100 acres for some family and had to get horseback called to come back and defend himself. You'll see that second generation John, he defended against 400 acres, retained his shit because white boy tried to impersonate him. And for those that are part of the Patreon, you're going to get a super PDF of this with all that information. So be on the lookout for that. This generation dealt with, of course, with the Civil War era, what we are talking about. And they still made it through that. So from the conclusion of the Powhatan Wars to the Civil War, the Johnson family survived every frontier convulsion the Chesapeake Bay produced. They endured rebellion, race, law, war, and dispossession. Not to mention, I'm going to put the ethnogenesis of their people, but not them. Why? Because they came in as the Portuguese Negro term, and in the 1800s, they were still that Negro term, but everyone got lumped into that. The African New Guinea term, the Spaniards wrote Loro, Leonardo, Membrillo when they meant black people, and that was their codes. But those people in the whole diaspora of the 200 and something years from 1619 to 1880, we wanted to show someone that everyone runs with. And today, sometimes they try to say he was a slave that overcame slavery. He was an indentured servant who left England willingly, participant in this game, and said, yo, Bennett, when we get there, whatever you tell me to do, I get baptized, I don't care. You saying I could work for you for 7 years, do this, learn these trades. While I'm working for you, I can get 15% of the bale that I harvest. I can do this, I can do that. And when I'm done, I can get 50 acres per commitment. I'm with you. And that was the times of the English until the 1750, where Mac was explaining that it all combusted into one phase, and by that Revolutionary War, and that 1776, those 1776 and that Revolutionary War caused an onslaught. That 1800s, this is where you get a lot of true white people coming in, but they tried to get rid of the Anthony Johnsons, the Disley Popes, the Anthony Michaels, all these families, the Tuckers.
The Homestead Act helped them do that.
That came in 18. That's why I wanted to get to the Civil War, because it shows you what there was a lot of abandoned lands in the Civil War and in the Freedmen Bank. It wasn't their lands; they didn't get their shit touched. But the third generation and the fourth generation owned slaves. I did not add that, but we're going to add that in the Patreon. They held slaves. So why didn't their plantation? Because it was given away. Why? Because maybe on that time they just had legal indentured servants. How did this work when you confiscated whose land? Those are the questions we need to ask. Mac, Monte?
I mean, hey, man, again, I appreciate you. The genealogy of Anthony Johnson, making it through this time frame. That's the ethnogenesis genealogical map. I guess anybody that might defer to think what this is wrong or any kind of way can put something in the chat and say, hey, no, that's not right. Even the relatives, anybody that say they got Johnson, they tied to Anthony Johnson, and this ain't happened, come holler at us,
We welcome it.
Because he's recorded in the Colonial records. And the Virginia Company has signed away his joint, and he's coming over as Antonio the Negro. And I don't know how he took the Johnson, because he was in the Bennett plantation, but he took the Johnson. Yeah, he was in the Bennett plantation. If you got the slave master's name or the indentured master's name, he should have been a Bennett. But it shows you that the masters of that were crypto Jews hiding, took those name frames. But it shows you that the Moorish people, because the crypto Jew and the Moor kind of like hunkered down together in 1492, where we'll show that a lot of Jews went to Moorish, Moroccan strongholds in that decree that kicked them out of Spain. They all didn't go to Portugal and Dutch. But that's just neither here nor there. Right here, we wanted to show that the Anthony Johnson and Johnson family made it through. We didn't even use every living descendant.
Right. Yeah, right. I'll make sure that's.
And we stopped at 1880. I know there's land going into 1900.
I mean, he's just an example. We ain't saying everybody got the same lineage or situation or circumstances of those underneath this term Negro, right? That's been categorized and developed in the ethnogenesis of those who are now Black in America and been here foundationally, obviously prior to 1776, and then the things that took place as this nation unfolds in our ethnogenesis as being in the politics of being classified as colored or Negro, black, you know what I mean, going into this time frame leading into 1865, where the Johnsons that he just presented go from 1621 into 1865.
2 years after the 1619 project.
Right. So it's very interesting with genealogy, right?
So Negroes could get here under servitude with the understanding that after the 7 years, they could get this, and that, or they could continue servitude in a better situation. But Negroes could do this. That's what this is showing. We're trying to show you it's not an anomaly when you look at the 1600s.
Yeah.
We're going to give them some work. We're going to show them something.
Negroes could come here under the English colony in the early 1600s up into 1700s, has this title, and they're not in total servitude as the Spanish until what Max says when we adopted things in 1720 after Queen Anne's War, and now everything is changing and shit getting hard out there in Virginia, but they brushing their shoulders off.
Yeah, and it's not to dismiss that there's people that we've been showed last week before the red race theory or the African race theory or any race theory that our ancestry predates in the development ethnogenesis of what became known as United States of America in 1776 and the race theory that came out in 1775. We predate in our ancestry being in what happened with the three different groups of people that we could point out who are being lumped underneath this term Negro, tied to that term Asiento, which, tied to a treaty that politically aligns all of us and how we be situated underneath a system systematically. One drop rule, Lampiza de Sangre. I ain't talking about sangria for y'all ladies out there that drink sangria. You heard me?
Yeah.
But that's blood, by the way. When you're talking about sangria, you know what I'm talking about. But maybe they named it after that. That's a whole nother conversation. But either way, shout out to all my ladies that tap in with us too. I want to make sure I say that too. Bless you.
That boy went crazy.
Thank you.
Shout out to all the ladies. Bless the ladies. You know what I'm talking
Bless
about?
them.
Bless it. They say blessing, blood. They say some people say blood and blood. Anyways, I guess it's covered in the blood of Yahshua. I don't know. I ain't gonna.
Nah. I'm getting over some slight food poisoning. I've been playing with myself too much.
But let's segue into the joint. We over, but I told you we got to give you all this.
Yeah.
So Monte already knew because I gave you my first part, and I knew now I'm gonna come give you the genealogy that we've been he presenting with us in this ideal of genealogy walk of somebody that's tied to the time frame of Virginia 1621 era, tied to the 13 colonies, and then walking through all the events, you know what I'm talking about, and political things, etc. His family goes through. Ethnogenesis. That's ethnogenesis now. That's 200-something years of a surname that develops and walks through all these things. Tied also to being also still called a Negro. Funny enough, he came in as a Negro, and his family, the Johnsons, stayed being called Negroes. So now, let's get to my bad, Monte. My next joint, you got it. You're ready.
Yeah. Well, give me which one we walking to?
We walking to the last two joints I sent you.
Okay.
Which is going to be tied to the origin of Pan-Africanism.
That's the one you want to start with.
Yeah, I want to start with that.
All right.
Yeah, we're going to get to this ethnogenesis thing.
You can see it good?
Yeah, make it a little bit bigger for the folk if you can. Just a little bit more. I want about to miss what's showing here now. And I want to give it, I know some of these folk out here that's tied still to the movement of Pan-Africanism.
There's a lot of them.
Tied to this term Negro. We all share this word Negro. I ain't gonna lie, we share it ethnogenesis wise. You can debate about it, whatever you want to go about. Freedmen too, ADOS, FBA, you know what I'm talking about? Urban Indians, you know what I'm talking about? Hebrew Israelites, you know what I'm saying? Moorish Americans. But just a regular old Negro that's out here living out here in the ethnogenesis was taking place. The origin of Pan-Africanism, for your information, if you didn't know, tied to this ethnogenesis, takes place after all that time frame we were talking about. Like everything we were talking about, Anthony Johnson and his Johnson name, making it from the beginning to what his time frame, Pan-Africanism ain't even there. Just for the listeners that never knew this, you know what I mean? And Pan-Africanism modern, and it's a political, cultural, and intellectual. I guess that's your talented 10. I guess the one you say would speak for you, right? Like W.E. Du Bois, you know what I mean? Like W.E. Du Bois in North America. Movement advocating unity among people of African descent worldwide. That would obviously be after 1775. This is politically after a lot of things that's taken place in the development of United States of America and its ethnogenesis, and how those were being classified as Negro state by state, you heard me? Getting into the federal jurisdiction of how this word Negro develops tied to the word color. You heard me? I want to make sure you see it the way I'm saying it now. Now, who coined the term? If you didn't know, Pan-African is most commonly attributed to Henry Sylvester Williams, a Trinidadian lawyer, Caribbean, who formerly used it in connection with the Pan-African Conference held in London. Remember we showed that thing earlier with London, Monte? Now, remember Benjamin Franklin, and we talked about it last week with the races and things like that, right? He's using the word Sons of Africa. And it was a brother that came amongst us. I ain't gonna say his name. He's on the Pan-African tip. He brought up all the authors, and these authors are tied to what we're talking about right now in this presentation, by the way. And in the standpoint of the fact that they use certain things tied to West Africa, the Guinea, Negro de Guinea, one of the distinctions tied to Negro, obviously, but in this context, in the Caribbean, London, and Equiano, you know, the dude Equiano, Monte, we've been talking about, tied to around time frame when the race theory comes about with Blumenbach. Equiano and Blumenbach met. Like London, abolitionism, Sons of Africa as an organization, the oldest abolitionist organization is tied to London. If you didn't know that,
everything go to London with this black shit.
This is going to be before the Pan-African coin term. We got Equiano, who California, by the way, used in the reparationist movement as the face of reparations for the foundational people out there. If you didn't know that, you know what I mean, this is what they presented to y'all. However, politically, it's not my. Is that politically right? That's what they did within our constraints of those who are being labeled Negro or labeled African American in the context of a system that go back to the Asiento de Negros. I mean, I don't know if you don't understand how that worked, but either way, it's showing you 19th century. This is after the race theory now. Now, we know that 19th century abolitionist movements, Ethiopianism, the Black Atlantic intellectual traditions, these emphasize shared oppression and divine dignity rather than unified racial identity. Make sure you understand that. Now, key figures, W.E. Du Bois, the brother brought him up the other day, you know what I'm talking about? Expanded he expanded it. It go back to that Trinidadian dude, Williams, right there, Henry Sylvester, but he expanded Pan-African, W.E. Du Bois, into intellectual. That's what he did. He made it intellectual. Diplomatic movement.
International.
He made it, he made it, you know what I'm saying? That's why even know him in Black history. Everybody should know him.
Right.
He tied to this Negro thing when we talk about Negro history, American, North America. Pan-African Congress. Look, through the multiple Pan-African Congress from 1919. Now, I want you to get the timeline because we're going to show you things that happened.
What, 26 years?
Yeah. You see that, right? How long that is? Yeah. We're going to show you the Negroes, though, tied to the Asiento de Negros, like Johnson and them, going through 1830 prior to any of this happening with him and his Pan-African connection, which obviously even the person that coined it, which is 1897. You see 1897 on the screen. Get your timeline right now. Look what Negroes are doing in North America tied to being Negro Americans, colored. Now, look what happened now. Continental shift. I'm slipping to the next line. Because Marcus Garvey, y'all should know Marcus Garvey. I mean, transformed it into a mass movement. You know what I mean? That's where everybody talk about America today. This whole international connection of anybody tied to this term Negro also correlated to the term African. And on the pan level, politically, internationally, and all the abolitionist movements combined and the ethnogenesis of that, we get to this time frame in history where this influence is taking place on an international level, dealing with which is tied to abolitionism. You know what I mean? Reform and all them different things. You know what I'm talking about?
Hey, so real quick, Mac, let's frame this properly so they understand the correlation and how you walking them, right? So you just broke down the blackamoors. You just broke down all of these different terms that was used to categorize people coming into America, how the terms kept changing, mulattoes and all of these things, right? Then getting into this African term, right, that we know is another change of these other names. Then now we got people who are what they would call black people pushing this movement about Africa out of nowhere after they meet up in London, right? Then you got Marcus Garvey, who's touted, if you are a black conscious person, Marcus Garvey is supposed to be a hero to you. Whole time, though, he's the one that's trying to promote leaving from the land that's ours to go somewhere that's foreign. This is not a righteous, he's not rebelling. That's going with the play. Because he ain't never end up in Africa neither. But go ahead, man.
No, you said it right. I mean, because he ended up in, Europe over there, London?
London. Boy, love London, boy.
London, man. Pan-Africanism is tied to the Caribbean and London. And then extended into North America through people we just pointed out, like W.E. Du Bois. He's the most popular of the Pan-African North American people. So when you mention all the other Negroes that predate W.E. Du Bois, they're not doing what W.E. Du Bois is doing, Marcus Garvey is doing, etc. Carter G. Woodson, free Negro, has a family from 1830 to what time frame? Covers the conventions that predate this Pan-African thing or even the Bantu thing. Matter of fact, let's do this live. Even Bantu predates the Pan-African thing, but guess who coined it? Monte, do a Google search real quick. All
right.
This surprised him tonight. By the name is going to be William, Wilhem, Bleek, like Memphis Bleek. Bleek.
All right.
Type in Bantu with him, 1862. Just do that live. Timelines, everything matter, right? Coin terms.
All right, yeah. So buku shit came up. Let's see. Which one we want to go to specifically?
I just want to give them the man name. That's all. I want them to see who coined it.
Oh, yeah.
Who coined it. All they know is a real person. You hear me?
Yep. Wilhelm Heinrich Emanuel Bleek was a German linguist.
Yeah. This man right here, the man that coined Bantu in 1862.
So let's see. His interest in African language was further developed during 1852 and 1853 by learning Egyptian Arabic from Professor Carl Richard Lepsis, who he met in Berlin in Germany. Them people. So he worked with another dude editing vocabularies of East African languages. So everybody that talk about African and the languages and the creation of it, they look like this guy right here.
Oh, Lord, no, this ethnogenesis in the hands of somebody where Negroes were already in America doing conventions, debating about certain things, knowing they were American. And you think that we were in America and our ancestors at that time doing conventions and our lineage were worried about something called Bantu? I mean, we were already about to go into the Civil War in America before Bantu was coined. Shit. But at the same time, you'd be mad at me because I'm showing you that this man right here, the man, a note on the term Bantu as the first used by that same man. But they want us to go off some DNA shit in the Negro-Guinea territory of West Africa. And it's no disrespect anybody out the Guinea who have heritage tied to the Congo, especially Angola. Shout out to Angola. We're going to do a build on Angola. Shout out to Isala. You heard, Monte? He went to Gola as a prisoner. We're going to break down Gola specifically. We're going to get to that. But tonight, the Ethnogenesis is still going to show within this Bantu thing, this ain't the thing to use, even when we show the people that were tied to certain things in the time frame where the Asiento de Negros being used. Just let you know. We're going to stick to what the Asiento de Negros showed in their documents of the treaties of who's licensed to be described as a Negro. You heard me? And that ain't one of them. We just showed you why. There it is. So at the end of the point, now we're going to keep it moving. So even though that's a key distinction in time flying, right? Key slide.
You can go to convention.
Yeah, go to the convention. Let's get to the convention. Cause time flying.
Said it's the last one of the year, baby.
Yeah.
I'm gonna land on the Ethnogenesis beat because Anthony Johnson's family went through all this. You heard me? His family went through all the things we just talked about right here in America.
And a side note. Here go a quick side note for those that follow certain things. The Tuckers, if you search the Tucker family, Jamestown, Virginia, 1619, the Tuckers have the oldest cemetery, and they're on the 1619 ship. One man is on that ship that became the Tuckers. Today, the Tuckers have the oldest continuing 300-year cemetery of their remains. But the history, when you look them up, is that they came from Africa, of course, because of the ship that they came on got taken, and the story is Africa. But they're a family to look at because they've been trending for like 2 or 3 years as the oldest Negro family with bones and actual land. A cemetery, family cemetery. But go ahead.
Yeah, so I had to put shit on the charge. I ain't gonna lie with y'all. I ain't gonna front. Negro Convention Movement, 1830 to 1864. Identity debates and the rejection of African. This is gonna be tied to Carter G. Woodson. Charlotte Trail, left the book when he came and checked me out down here. You heard me? This archive companion documents the historical reality that organized Black political life in the United States, predates Pan-Africanism by more than 70 years. From 1830 through the Civil War era, free, like Anthony Johnson, and later emancipated Black Americans convened national assemblies to debate citizenship, naming, legal status, and collective identity. Central among these debates was whether Black Americans should identify as African or assert a distinct American political identity under labels Negro or colored. You heard me? Yeah. Origins of Negro Convention Movement. The first national convention of free people of color, that's what it was called, met in Philadelphia, tied to Richard Allen, who actually had, tied to one of the churches, tied with the word African involved. Yeah. But they're still actually on the systematic standpoint labeled as free Negroes or colored on census records. However, it says we are natives of this country. Look what it said. Just direct quotations from the convention records and leaders like Richard Allen. We are natives of this country. We ask only to be treated as well as foreigners. Minutes of the 1831 Convention of Free People of Color. This is our home, and this is the land of our birth, and we have no other country. Proceedings of the 1833 National Convention. The term African, as applied to us, has been used as a reason for our expulsion from the land.
That's the one right here. This the one, bro.
You see that one? Look at that.
Yes.
Huh? This is from the conventions in our ethnogenesis as Americans being labeled Negroes.
1843.
Genealogies and lineages here. Make a distinction. Hold on, I had to get a little juice real quick. I'm gonna bring it back. Try to get this right. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, we gotta hear this.
Yeah, I had to make sure. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't juice it right tonight for the whole this expansion, but that Negro expansion conversation is important, right?
Mm-hmm.
It says, we are Americans, and as such, we claim the rights of Americans. Henry Highland Garnett, addressed to the Convention of Colored Citizens, 1848. This all predates Pan-Africanism in origin. There's no such thing yet. Like how we always try to track you with the race theory. There's no such thing yet. But once we get lumped after the race theory, and they're lumping us as African tied to this term Negro, and we already showed you that Blackamoor and other terms are being used amongst even indigenous people being labeled Negroes, mixtures or not, depending on the situation. We see that now in the development going into this time frame in our ethnogenesis, in the making of Black Americans, that we're not even our ancestry at those conventions before the Civil War. Before Bantu in 1862. It says, why Africans were strategically rejected. The resistance of
Hey, hold on. Did you read this one?
I didn't read that. I skipped to
it. Read this one.
Give it to him. It says the African name has been made an engine of oppression. No, unhighlighted. You got a little thing real quick. Let them see it again. The African name has been made an engine of oppression rather than a badge of honor in this republic. The republic. Delegate remarks. Colored National Convention, 1853. These are free Negroes like Johnson.
A decade before the Civil War. This is what they say. They mad because they know what they doing with that African shit. Boy, we not from no Africa.
Right.
You trying to take us off the land and take our land.
American Colonization Society and shit.
Hey, hold on real quick. My bad. Shout out to George Myers. He say, Dr. Umar Johnson is today's Pan-Africanism. Check out the last name. He don't even know it.
He done George Myers.
He don't even know it. He don't even know it. Shout out to my man George. He don't even know it.
Shout out to George, yeah, on the solstice. I appreciate that right there. That was right on time too, and for all them folk that been out here talking to us. But we understand genealogy. Not only genealogy. Hold on now. We understand genealogy, right? We just showed Johnson, right? Of that Johnson family. We're not saying his Johnson family is that, by the way. Even with that shout out from George.
But look, because Kofi came and told him. That ain't even his real surname, so maybe he do know the significance of that name. You never know with these people, bro. I'm just saying.
Hey, that's a whole nother part, though, see? But we're going to still stick to the fact that these conventions and their minutes, like, when you have real conventions, they have minutes. And they're telling you in the minutes what they're talking about before Emancipation Proclamation. You heard me? Carter G. Woodson's family, the leaders or heads of households, Negro heads of families. Well, they're rejecting it. Okay, those who go to Liberia, okay, yeah, you might fall underneath it. You heard me?
Yep.
You accepted the American colonization situation and went to Liberia. But at the same time, you still got many of people, obviously, with them surnames. You know what I mean? That been lumped underneath the Asiento de Negros over time. 3 different groups: Indigenous, Blackamoors, and Negro de Guinea. You heard me? All lumped underneath this Negro term. And look, they're still saying, even with the Guinea part, that we don't want to be called Africans. Not in this ethnogenesis of what we doing.
Hey, let them hear this one.
Go ahead. It says, why? You want to read it?
Yeah, I got it. It say, why African was strategically rejected. The resistance to African identification was not rooted in shame, but in legal and political strategy. Delegates understood that U.S. law recognized Negro and colored classifications, while African identity was used to justify removal, colonization, and exclusion from citizenship. By rejecting African labeling, convention leaders strengthened claims to birthright citizenship and constitutional protection. And this is before federal citizenship. So what they talking about is citizenship to the actual state territory that they domiciled in, not resided in. It's a difference in law because they said they knew what the law meant. It's important. It's funny how they understood it better then than we do now, but that's another story.
Either way, they know the difference though, and they know these minutes like we should know.
It's funny how they was trying to defend against that classification that they knew within the English colonies, which in the States now because they're not colonies no more. But they knew to try to defend against that for the free Negro of color that was slowly being lumped into some shit. And at the same time, remember you said 1850. This is 20 years after Indian removal. So a lot of those people in the South, they took a choice to go that way over the Mississippi, and they end up on the other side, and they're still trying to get their land. So wherever Negrodom went in the 1800s, they infringed upon whatever they had to try to lump you into some shit before 1865. And that was the culmination of the big count. They needed a big count of the Blackamoor from England, the Moor from Moroccan or the northern crest of Africa, the New Guinea from the west, because that's what they called them. They needed a count of the Negro from Portugal that hid under Spain, Dutch, and France's different Huguenot statuses and shit. They needed to lump all of those into one, and they successfully did it. But that shows that Our people weren't ignorant. Oh, our people didn't do nothing. They didn't fight. They were fighting legally. They were fighting in different manners. Sometimes they were fighting in tribes. Sometimes they were fighting through the jurisdictions.
Oh, go ahead. I mean, because my shit about to die. Go, Monte, slide up. Make sure they get all this.
That's it. That's the last part.
Are we good? So let me talk shit. At this part right here, go back.
Oh, no, hold on, Matt. I want to give them one thing.
What happened?
Wait, where's it at? Hold up. Oh man,
it's on here.
No. I want to say this to you now. Matter of fact, in that part where it say the last convention, you see where it say the last convention? That's going to be 1864. Wait,
1864.
where it say?
Right here with the Negro Convention movement formally concludes during the Civil War period, with the last major national convention held in 1864.
Guess where it was located at?
Where?
Syracuse.
Syracuse.
Like Syracuse we showed on that map earlier in North Africa.
Yeah.
But either way, I mean Syracuse. Either way, Syracuse is the last one, and it so happened to be in New York. You heard me? The last convention before the Civil War ended, when Abraham Lincoln, there's obviously those Negroes in that convention were Republicans, right? And in the Republic of them understanding, them being in their status, we're looking to end what happened to end, dealing with the Proclamation of Emancipation, you heard me? Which led to what people call freedmen, which obviously Negroes, when we showed you the Roman referee thing back in the day, we showed you the Synagogue of Freedmen, right? And how Negroes were in the Synagogue of Freedmen, they would happen to be Jews. But however the case, other groups of people lumped into the category, even over Roman time periods, are connected to the ethnogenesis of a system the same way we have been labeled and systematically lumped into a system in the making of Black America. And that's what I want to lay on y'all on the solstice, you heard?
Hey.
Okay, Matt, let me share the screen real quick just to end it with what occurred with this African thing.
We got you.
We're speaking about an ideology to remove you. So they had to do it in the colonies, and then I'm just showing you that they did this in Oklahoma territory under the guise of some individual that came in there in 1915, the same era as Marcus Garvey, with this Liberian tale. Chief Sam came into this Indian territory. Right now, it's already a state, but it used to be Indian territory. It's probably 14 years of being a state. Not even 7 years of being a state. So he comes in there and trying to get these people to basically remove their land holdings by way of this Pan-African theme of Back to Africa. So I'm just going to show you. This is the Tulsa Star. This is a newspaper from the times of Tulsa that you can look at to see a lot of things that are occurring. Land being stolen, all types of stuff. So Chief Sam's followers, without friends, food, or no money, Chief Sam's tribe appeals for aid. Many are said to be waiting in Oklahoma for the ship that may never return. I'm not going to go through it all, but this is a letter given to the Oklahomian people. J. Crowley Johnson, a prominent lawyer of Wewoka, is circulating a letter received by him from William H. Hearst, chief engineer of the Chief Sam expedition to Africa, which brands Chief Sam as a gigantic fraud and gives some important facts about the purported or preferred chief and his actions. Let me move it up. In his actions. According to this letter, which was sent to us by George Perry, former editor of the Bowley Press, that's another magazine that you can get a lot of things that went back and forth to Africa, trade and shit like that. Those who went with Chief Sam have repented their actions and are now appealing to come home, folks, to help him to come back. Now, let me tell you, when the people left, they sold their acres. You got, there's different... we'll show it at a different time. Tulsa Star tracks him through like 2 years. So they show you when he first got there, touting from the AME church, some Back to Africa thing. And then when people sold their allotments, these Negro Creek women and a lot of children sold their stakes to go to this new heaven, whatever. So while I'm sorry to say that this Negro, our so-called leader, Chief Albert C. Sand has only lied and frauded the people out of theirs, basically. So now when you go, I'm gonna put this in the chat so that people can read it themselves. But I'm showing you that they had this return to Liberia because he went to Liberia.
Yep.
When he was moving in one of the coastal areas, trying to get some people, like 20 people that didn't want to stay there after 3 months, the British niggas snatched his shit because it was World War I going on. So the Britons snatched this nigga shit and sent some of the people back. I found out because when he got the shit, niggas like, yo, we American, man. This nigga's crazy. Get us back. So it was World War I, and they were an ally. So they snatched that ship off the coast of what's the name? He wasn't on that ship. He was sending another dude that most of the people he had were from Oklahoma. He was sent to get them niggas out of their land. It was about 48 people that had land, that sold land and put into a trust pot for this expedition and for them to have all type of monies and things to be over there all hunkered down and good. And it never happened. It never materialized. Death after death came. And that's just to show you that narrative would not have succeeded with Garvey, because at the same time, and there's a guy doing this.
Yeah.
And he's doing it with big funding from not only the AME Church, he's suckering would-be children and men, women, and children to give up their shit and move to Africa under this Gold Coast theme.
Hey, so yeah, you definitely cooking though, bro.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that so they can have something. I'm gonna put it in there. But when you go through this newspaper, you can also see the ethnogenesis of the Indian black girl and the black guy, because there's still a lot of land, and this newspaper shows you. So I'm gonna throw this link in the chat.
Well, I think this ethnogenesis conversation, I think it's the foundation of it. What do you think, Monte? What you think?
Nah, I mean, it's good. I mean, so basically, like, in summary, what we hope, from my opinion, what people should take from it is showing y'all that this black thing that we living and dying behind was created for our demise, bro. So we've been like, if we do this whole year recap, and we've been trying to break this down and show y'all, is that black is not real. We take and get emotion behind it because we know it's actually attached to us, our family, our people, but it's not a status that we should be using, because everything they created behind it was to remove us from our true identity. So it's time to remove the emotion, because we didn't went to great lengths to show you that this was a constructed plan, and every person involved, even people that look like us, we just being unbiased. But what you got on it, Matt?
I mean, shit, that's the ethnogenesis, though. I mean, our ancestors, from free to those, wherever you located, that was in chattel, or even the worst circumstances, right? Tied to this word Negro. We're going to look at the good, bad, and the ugly. That's going to include, though, the three different, I'm going to say, ethnic groups and categories by their system that fall underneath the Asiento. And that would be indigenous people, Indians, that be reclassified underneath this term Negro. Not all, as we showed you last week, while we showed you the red race, those aren't people, they're not getting classified as really the category of Negro, even though we showed you last week that word nigga. I'm talking about, they used it, Benjamin Franklin, and then Thomas Jefferson. We showed you some things on Patreon later on, which is in the same ethnogenesis conversation, and how both those different people are dealing with different groups of people called red. But however, and there are treaties tied to them because of that relationship, that in alliances of a, categorical understanding of people, right? But in the Negro ethnogenesis, the Black American, the Blackamoor, right? The Guinea and the indigenous population, that is what we're dealing with when it comes to Gullah. You heard? And that's what we're dealing with, today when we get this information to you and we slide on you tonight. And we wish you a solstice, you heard me? And enjoy, your holiday. We'll see you on the 26th, as they call it, January, you heard me? First Sunday of January, right after the New Year, as they call it commercially. So shout out to y'all, Maranatha. The harsh reality is live life autonomously. And shout out to my Maroons out there, Maroonville, you heard me? Monte, appreciate you. Shout out to Nine for that tonight.
Cooking today.
Hey, if you got something you want to say against anything we showed tonight, and you want to set up a debate or a conversation or a live, that shows something contrary to what we've displayed, we are willing to have that conversation. If it's for money or without. We actually, if it's live, we can do it like this. You know what I'm talking about? We can make it happen. You know what I'm talking about? Could be live with ours. You hear me? We ain't backing down on what we showing. That's autonomous, by the way. That's the party. Maroon. Peace.
Peace.
They changed our names, but the truth still lives.
Some say we came from far away. Some say we've always been right here. Two stories at the same doorway, both chasing what our hearts hold dear.
Old maps, new maps, who's to say? We just want the truth that they erase. Two roads,
one people,
still searching for the name they stole.
Baby, two roads, one people,
still walking back to what we know.
Oh, we rise together, no matter which path we chose. No, two roads, one people,
still coming home,
still coming home.
Some want unity to heal the pain, some want records to clear the lies. But either way we break the chains and lift the story they deny. Lineage, memory, same heartbeat, just different ways to find our feet.
One people,
Still searching for the name they stole. Two roads,
one people,
still walking back to what we know.
oh, we
rise, no matter which path we chose. Oh no, two roads, one people, still coming home, still coming home.
We remember, who we are.
They turned our nations into colors, but the truth kept living in our bones. Every step we take uncovers the road that leads us back home. One people still searching for the name they stole. Two roads, one people still walking back to what we know. Oh, we rise, no matter which path we chose. Oh, two roads, one people, still coming home, still coming home, still coming home. Still coming home, still coming home. Still coming home.
This could take quite a bit of time.
Pardon my autonomy. I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces. How the fuck you bummy and broke but a pair of races? My lineage free people of color with a left maker. Each nigga. This right here maroon, now it ain't burgundy. If you plotting murder, I'm certain that you'll need surgery. Hurt from when the burner squeeze. Protecting tribe business. Only consulting with governments, tribe to tribe with it. Please don't confuse us with those considered native. Semi-autonomy never was in our nature. Just address me as Ethnogenesis. Wild Indian status and Cherokees riding Ruchis. In my war bonnet, if you want it, bring it to your region. And black forces the same color the European. Pardon my autonomy, I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces.
Aborigines, which means what? Black folks. You never find a white aborigine. Aborigines are called natives, or they're always dark-skinned people. You and I are aborigines, but you don't like to be called an aborigine.
Right, because P. Diddy be wanting the body, and you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no.
Oh, baby, no. Oh, never go. I mean, time of night, descendants of the covenant. Maroon fire movement, awakening the truth within. In the shadows we survived. Chains couldn't bind our soul. Echoes of our ancestors' cries now unite to make us whole. Through the storms and the pain, our spirit never broke. Maroon blood in our veins, igniting the fire we stoke. Maroon fire awakens, burning bright in the night. Truth and justice, it beckons, guided by ancestral light. From the ashes we ascend, with courage in our stride. Maroon fire won't bend, in unity we confide.
All my trials and tribulations, I had to get the right education in order to build a strong foundation. Doesn't happen overnight, it takes patience. Though sometimes the road, it seems long, but you gotta hold your head and be strong. Long as you know that you can make it, you just go through trials and tribulations.
Hear the call of the drums, feel the rhythm in your soul. Maroon fire overcomes, making the broken whole. Maroon fire awakens, burning bright in the night. Truth and justice, it beckons, guided by ancestral light. From the ashes we ascend, with courage in our stride. Maroon fire open, in unity we confide. The fire within us burns eternal, a beacon for generations to come. Maroon fire awakens, our journey has just begun. Burns eternal, a beacon for generations to come. Maroon fire awakens, our journey has just begun.
Send that video to your brothers.
You're a leader, superior, protector, provider, a supreme being with that true light up inside you, gonna shine it. You're successful, you have courage, the mightiest of warriors, wise, brave, no struggle can stop you. You the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and 4. Don't let them tell you any different. All my brothers, you should know. You the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and 4. Don't let them tell you any different. All my brothers, you should know.
Black leaves in the Mississippi River. Black leaves in the Mississippi fire. Black leaves Mississippi choir. Black leaves on the Mississippi land. And we've got garden cotton, we've got sons and daughters, we've got grit and glory, we've got mama stories, we've got strength like towers, we've got hope and power.
God made woman with an iron hand, raised her up on heaven's land. God made woman with an iron hand, raised her up on heaven's land.
Strength like towers, we got hope and power.
God made woman with an iron hand, raised her up on heaven's land.
Pictures wide. The story traveled overseas in light. Exiles running from the Inquisition's fire, carrying covenant and ancient choir. Moorish shades in the Amsterdam rain, brown-skinned rabbis with Iberian names. Men that say, open up the book again, said the tribes were living on American plains. Well,
Copper sons, tawny daughters, walked this land before the borders. Everybody knew the signs, everybody felt the line.
Hidden Hebrew in the land, we were written in the sand. From the islands to the Carolinas, same blood, same fire, same promise inside us. If they cover up the truth, still the truth gon' rise again. Hidden Hebrew in the land, you can hear it in the wind. Cromwell reading hope of Israel, saw the prophets in the stories we tell. Said the nations on this copper ground look like Spain's Jews when the sun went down. Puritan eyes saw a mirror too, Old Testament waves in the native crew. Drums like song, smoke like prayer, memories speaking through the sun-kissed air.
We ain't new to this land,
we been here from the start.
We ain't strangers to the Lord, like I'm branded on the heart.
Hidden Hebrew in the land, we were written in the sand. From the islands to the Carolinas, same blood, same fire, same promise inside us. If they cover up the truth, still the truth gon' rise again.
Hidden Hebrew in the land, you can hear it in the wind.
the Southern Pines. Gave freedom to the Jew in the Carolina line. So Sephardic seas met the Maroon tribes. Mixed the prayers with the river tides. Colored tongues with that Geula flame. Still the same people, though they changed our name. From Suriname heat to the low country sand. That Hebrew root kept holding the land. Oh.
They try to bury what we carry, try to hide it in the maps. But the drums remember stories that the textbooks won't unwrap.
Lift your voice, let the truth run free. We the ones they said we couldn't be. Every exile finds their shore. We've been home forever and here in the land. We were written in the sand. From the islands to the Carolinas. Same blood, same fire, same promise inside us. Truth don't break and truth don't bend. Spirit knows its way back in.
Hidden Hebrew in the land.
Let the choir say amen.
Read my lips. You ain't no player.
Count me once. Yeah. Count me twice. Yeah. Still can't cage what the soul ignites. Lines and ledgers, pens and promises.
But the people still pay the price.
Yeah.
They'll trace your name, not your need. They'll quote your pain, not your creed. Say sorry with a seal and a grin. But the check don't cash when the truth too thin. We the proof they can't erase. Still singing freedom face to face. They gave us forms, we gave them faith. But baby, faith don't feel no safe.
Without redemption, another law with no dimension. They say we heal cause we listed, but the promise still missing.
Count me once, count me twice. Still I rise past every line. You can't free me with your pen when the ink's still soaked in sin. Count me once, count me twice. We the choir they tried to divide. You can't buy back what we bled. Freedom don't live in your leg.
72 to 24. That's not math. That's a war. They cracked the block, packed the door, then told us equal. We seen this before. The 15 said vote, the 14 said own. But ownership died when they claimed the throne. Now the gavel got a southern tone. And every count cut to the bone. We the light, we the truth. Measure but never invite. They don't lift us, they list us.
But the list don't love us like the Lord does. Still I rise. You can't free me with your pen when the ink's still soaked in sin. Count me once, count me twice. We the storm they can't disguise. You can't cage what God done said. Hey, freedom don't live in your leg.
do you trust me in my phone? And sometimes you get me through the day. And whenever I start to feel alone, I just play your voicemail that I say before things change. Now I read the message you sent, trying to tune out when you say I know you love me, but if you just forget about